Mother, man.
Hey guys, here's Lorenz from Traitor, and you're listening to Modern Metal Mayhem, the best show on web. Stay heavy.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right.
Hell yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We're throwing down. It's Tuesday. Got a new Murder Metal Mayhem for you guys. And we're in Horns High Studios. And Joey, do you have a name? Chris, you're...
For
do you
my
have
new
a
studio?
name for the studio?
No, not yet, but it'll probably be just FTA Records. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you go.
Might
There
as
you
well
go.
be, yeah.
You're in the 419. We're doing this remote with you for the first time. So
You know what? I bet you I'm going to start calling it 419 Records. Like,
Yeah,
like
you
should.
Just
You
for the
should.
fuck of it, you might as well.
Yeah, that would be funny. So we got episode 187 going down tonight. So we're doing this one different. Chris and I are here in the studio. Joey's moved. But Joey, in your place, we've got Albert Fish in a set of headphones
With
on your mic.
Fuck
So
yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah. And I got the picture right here, so I'm getting to check it out, too.
yeah, there you go. Pretty cool, though. It worked. I had the idea, and I thought, what we're going to do each week. So Gacy might be a challenge with the hat
with
on
the
his
fucking
head.
hat. That's
I
gonna
think
be
we
rough.
can still
Oh,
make it
yeah,
work. We can still make it work. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, very cool. So we're doing this a little different way, kind of like how we did when CK was on with us.
Right,
So
right.
you're recording yourself over there, and then
Yep.
it should sound really great. So I'm looking forward to hearing what it sounds like.
And I know you're in the 419, but I bet you're acting like it's 420.
Oh, I'm sure.
Somewhat.
Right.
Yeah, you're in a different state now, different rules over there. So.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in somebody else's house now. So
Right.
Oh,
there's
that's
that.
true.
different rules over here.
Now, what kind of T-shirts we got on tonight, Chris? What you sporting over
I
there?
got the motherfucking rotten crotch shirt. Another one
Yeah.
that fucking Joey gave me, dude.
Of
Like,
course.
I love this motherfucking shirt, though. I love the
If
logo.
Joey didn't clothe you, you'd
I know,
probably
I'd be naked. I'd be naked all the goddamn
Look like
time.
one of
dude.
those fucking
Like,
kids on the
No, this
the
ain't no
bloated
bullshit.
belly,
Legit,
you know?
the shorts I got on, he gave me too. Like, so
They better be them jorts.
they are not the jorts.
Oh, damn.
Joey, what about you, man? What you doing over there?
I'm rocking a new shirt I got at Chicago Domination Fest this weekend, which I'll talk about in metal, of course.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But I'm wearing the fucking brand new deflowered logo shirt.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Which that's my buddies from Texas, and they're doing the comeback thing, and
Awesome.
they played at CDF, and it's the black shirt with the purple logo I did for them, so
Fucking
pretty
right.
awesome.
Hell
Very
yeah.
cool. Very cool. I've got my Death Individual Thought Pattern shirt on. And
Hell
I'm
yeah.
thinking, Chris, we need maybe a mannequin torso.
Torso. That's not a
to go
terrible
with
idea.
this look.
we
We
just
could
throw a
shirts
different
on-
shirt on it
Yeah,
every
we could
week,
do
dude.
that.
That's not a terrible idea.
We could really get ridiculous with this.
I mean,
Fucking right.
you can start putting a shirt and the mask on the mannequin.
No, that's what.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
That's
what
what's up.
So actually, I looked at getting mannequins for the Dark History Convention for our shirts. They're kind of
Oh, yeah,
expensive,
yeah.
though.
Right.
I really wanted to get them, but man, they were high. I'm like,
Right.
I got to keep an eye out. I even went on eBay to grab them there, and they were cheaper there, but still pricey for even
Right.
just the torso.
Yeah.
But then I'd have to have somewhere to put it. So,
Yeah,
but I thought
storage.
put the mask on,
on
the
the
head,
head for the torso.
and
yeah.
then our shirts on would look fucking
That'd be
cool as
fucking
hell.
sick.
You know?
I wonder if I can get a good deal over in Cleveland on torsos.
Maybe if you go to the beach, just
Right.
want to wash up, right? Very
Nice.
cool. Classic old episode of
Fucking
Murder
right.
Metal
Oh, yeah.
Mayhem,
Hell yeah,
the
dude.
Cleveland torso murders.
Nice.
Nice reference, Joey. So last week, guys, we did our crazy ass Shark Week episode. The Jersey Shore, Snooki and the gang was all getting tore up. But no, long before them, 1916, that one that inspired the book and movie for Jaws. So that was cool, Joey. Your
That was a
last
great one.
show in the studio for a while, and that was
Yeah,
cool.
man. Yep, it was fucking proper to do that. Plus,
Yeah.
I did the metal segment on my own band, Goremonger. So
Yeah, that was even cooler that it worked out. It wasn't even
Yeah,
like we had
yeah.
to change the schedule. It was just
Nope.
it was your turn. It was just like it was meant to
Everything
be.
worked out
You know, I
perfect,
couldn't
fucking
have
right.
written a script any better than that. So
Hell yeah.
so that was cool, and we did a great killer cage match with Joey and Charles Manson on rafts in a shark tank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. So
Yeah, you
and,
got to go listen if you haven't heard it.
Yeah, that
you
shit's
and
funny as
Charlie
fuck.
fighting on a raft with sharks and piranha too were in the water.
Fuck yeah.
So it's a good one, episode 186, and we were just passing 900 to that one today. So
Sweet.
So that was great. Now tonight, this is one, guys, that I've been waiting for because as soon as I saw a documentary on this creepy motherfucker, I thought this is a definite for the episodes. I mean, just definite. But it's not a name that I bet a lot of people have ever heard of before.
Right.
Joe Naso, the murder list
Don't
killer.
call him Naso.
No.
He gets pissed about that.
He does
Oh,
get
he gets pissed about a lot of
Yeah,
shit.
he's an
Yeah,
angry
that's true.
motherfucker. So, a fucked up story about an old man who's on probation getting busted with a house full of mannequins and lingerie and a list of 10 women that he murdered. Just kept a list.
He's cool with it. Like,
Yeah.
I keep documents of every crime I do. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
fucking piles of calendars with detail. I mean, just the dumbest shit. But it's a crazy one. If he wouldn't have done that stupid crime, he probably would have lived the rest of his life and nobody would have ever known.
Exactly.
Which is fucked up. So it is a sordid tale of one fucked up motherfucker, and we're going to throw that one down. In the the murder segment, I'm really excited about it because it's been on my list for a while. I've been wanting to do this. Now, I got the horns tonight, and so Joey's going to just in spirit pass me the horns
I
tonight.
just figured Albert Fish would hand them off.
There you go. The German thrash band is the one I'm doing tonight, and that's Traitor. Definitely like those guys. I did an interview with Lorenz, their bass player, on Sunday. It really went well, and I got about a 5 or 6 minute piece of that for you later. Him talking about how Angel Ripper became part of that Total Thrash song and everything, which is
Fucking
really
right.
cool. So, and then Joey, you got a Lost Classic tonight.
I do got a Lost Classic.
So
Hell yeah, I
that'll
can't
be
wait
cool.
to hear what it is.
And you're going to
And-
talk about the Chicago Domination Fest.
And I'm going to talk about CDF, and I will say also, since we're doing this all new and we're getting used to our new setups and shit, I know I just heard a notification ding. So if you guys hear that, my fault. I'm trying to figure out how to stop it. So,
That's okay.
It's no big
not
deal.
like
It
it ain't
happens.
happened on our end.
Right,
So don't
yeah,
worry
yeah.
Won't worry about it. All right. Well, very cool. So that'll be in the metal segment. And then tonight, guys, a killer cage match, always a good one. We have our listeners provide random numbers on the
Fucking right.
Facebook page. That helps us figure out, Chris, who's going to fight and what they're fighting with. And tonight, we
For
want to
sure.
say thank you.
Tonight, our listeners that threw out the numbers, we got Missy Hartson. We got, once again, Rebecca
Of
Boomsock.
course.
And the man of many names, Ray Anaconda
Oh,
McFalls.
wow. Anaconda. Man, this fucking Ray McFalls character, he's been
My
on here, what, 10
Anaconda
or 12
don't want
times.
none.
Motherfucker's got every fucking nickname you want that has to do with his penis. So,
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah.
Cock
that's
strong.
Good for you, Ray. So, yeah, thank you, ladies and Ray, for contributing those numbers. And we got a good one, Joey. In the cage, we got a return of one that's been in there many times and one that I can't recall has been in there at least recently. So who's fighting tonight?
Tonight we got from Chicago, Illinois, John Wayne Gacy, the killer
Hell
clown
yeah.
himself. Then he's going up against the KC butcher, Robert Burdella.
Ugh.
What a sick bastard. Both of them.
Yeah,
sick
both
and
of 'em.
perverse.
They
And they're
just
going to
take
have
dudes
some
and
fun
torture 'em.
tonight, I think, in that cage.
Yeah, they take dudes and torture them, both of them.
They do. Yeah, fucked up shit. So it's going to be a wild matchup. We got two objects. One is just like you couldn't have written it any better for these two, and a variable, and it should be great. And we're going to do that in our Mayhem segment like we always do.
Yep.
And guys, we've been talking about Sick Rick and those masks he makes. We got the Albert Fish is kind of our feature mask this week. Chris, what do you think about that?
Honestly, the black and white fucking Albert Fish to me looks just fucking. I mean, he is called the Gray Man, so like it works perfect. I fucking love it, dude.
And the blue eyes,
I was just going to say them blue eyes are
with
just
the black and white mask.
creepy as fuck.
Yeah, he definitely looks creepy. Joey, I know you like that one, and
oh hell yeah,
you know the detail on his masks are just unbelievable. It really is. So, but we got him in headphones and on a microphone tonight, so we never know.
You
Chris
might
Albert
hear him.
might have something to say tonight.
Right.
I don't know, but you could check the episode description for these masks. Sick Rick masks. That's SIKRIK masks.com to order one. They're amazing. We've got 9 of them in here. He does serial killers, rock stars,
And
just all sorts of
other
shit. He's
random
done the
things.
Guar stuff. He's doing now the trick or treat mask. So he's done like Freddy and Jason,
Right.
and, Mike Myers, and
he
a bunch
does all
of cool
the-
ones. So
he does all the fucking work for the band Macabre's fucking show stages and shit, dude. Like, come on,
and that
man.
interview I did, he talked about that. So Sick Rick is a good dude, and so buy some of his masks, check it out, and we got all sorts of pictures on our Facebook page if you want to see what they look like. Thank you to everybody that's listening to Murder Metal Mayhem. We keep seeing the numbers. This week we're down a little bit at 2,600.
Yeah, we're all
But
right.
still okay, and we
Yeah.
appreciate that, guys.
You
So
guys are the
thank you.
fucking shit for those of you that are out there fucking listening to this shit and keep on listening and letting other people know about us. You're fucking awesome. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, guys, well, we got a lot on our plate tonight. We're going to be taking a trip to California, and hopefully we don't end up on Joe Naso's murder list.
Joe Naso fucking get our murder on. What? Naso. You're a real Naso. You know that?
Man, that was fucking Battle Grave. Those guys are sick. They remind me a lot of Misery Index, just killer drumming. All of them are wicked, but that was a song, The Black Vortex, from their brand new album, Cavernous Depths, just so sick. Sean from In Malice's Wake did the artwork for it. It looks killer. It sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's fucking badass.
Yeah, that
Really,
artwork's
really
so
good
sick.
stuff. So I'm going to be doing an interview with those guys. It's a 2-man project. They brought in a drummer, and then the one guy does all the vocals. The second guy does all the strings, and then they brought the drummer in. So
Fucking right.
fucking badass. All right. Well, tonight we're doing the case of Joe Naso, known as the Murderless Killer.
Damn right.
Very, very fucked
Damn
up.
right.
Some mistakenly, and I'm just bringing this up now because Murder Metal Mayhem is on this shit.
Right,
Some
right.
mistakenly continue to say he might be the Alphabet Killer in Rochester, New York. Now, we're going to talk about that, and there's a good reason that
there's a
people
huge
think.
reason. Yeah, like,
Totally.
It's insane. Like some of the
It is. It's crazy he's not because of how much
Yeah.
it's similar. But
right, exactly.
But it's been purely debunked. though,
right,
so.
DNA, like it's not possible. So we'll talk about that later. But just in case you're like, is this the same guy as the Alphabet Killer?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. But there's a lot of the YouTube videos that are still persisting that whole it could be him,
That
it
he
could be
was
him
him,
thing,
yeah.
and it's not. Now some also, I like this guy's called him Crazy Joe, kind of.
Oh
fit.
yeah.
And I could see why, because he's
He
fucking
ain't no
nuts,
crazy Joey Cashman.
right?
Right.
So Naso killed somewhere between 6 and 10 women from 1977 to 1994 in California. He ends up on probation, gets busted. with a coded list of these 10 women, and the cops are fucking all over it. Really good police work on this one. Very impressive.
Unlike some of the other stories we've done.
Yeah, exactly. These guys fucking saved the fucking day and got this piece of shit fucking caught at least. He was a serial rapist going over decades. I mean, unbelievable. A total piece of shit. So we're going to do this one tonight, and definitely looking forward to it. And Chris, this is probably a guy that most people are not going to know about.
Yeah, I fucking, till you brought him up, I didn't even hear of him. Because, like, I think maybe it's because his crimes were so far away and the time that he got busted and everything, maybe. But
I was surprised. I had never heard of it either.
I had no idea who
but
he
I
was
hadn't
when you first
myself.
said his name. Yeah, when you first said his name, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I have no idea.
Right.
So, yeah, actually, like, getting into some shit. And
it's always cool to learn some shit,
it's like,
especially one like this. You know?
Right.
Now, Joey, we've done stories like Naso before, you know, these guys that do some stupid shit to get caught. But this is definitely a crazy one, man.
Yeah, wild ass story. This is one I hadn't heard of either before we started doing it. But I mean, the motherfucker he's something else, that's for sure, you know. And
narcissistic as fuck.
Yeah, and I think like Chris said, it was just mostly because fucking the time period that he did his crimes and the way he got caught, you know, a lot of people just hadn't heard of him. And it's not like whenever we did Wortman and a billion things pop up on YouTube and shit whenever you study that dude. You look up this guy, Naso, and hardly anything comes up.
No, and what does come up is the alphabet killer shit.
Right.
And it's like, that's not who we're talking about. So you could see how a lot of people mistakenly think that that's who this is. So we're going to get it. We're going to set the record straight here on Murder Metal Mayhem. And like you guys, I hadn't heard of him either. I just stumbled on it, the algorithm thing on YouTube.
Right.
And boom. But actually, it wasn't YouTube. No, I take that back. The documentary I watched, the good one, is on Prime. It was free to watch, and I think I had watched another serial killer doc on there, and this was one that was like, if you like this, you'll like that. And that's how I found it was there.
Sometimes algorithms on computers are weird, though.
They are.
Because I mean, like, looking up, like, different tools and parts I need for work.
Yeah,
and it's like,
Google.
oh, you ordered this. Check this out. It's like we ordered, dude, like, this, like, I don't understand algorithms because we ordered like a fucking, like a $50 part for a machine or whatever. And then all of a sudden, oh, you bought this. Check this out. It was like a $52,000 tool set. It's like, wait, hold on, dude. And then another one was like, the next thing is like, oh, you ordered this fucking wrench or whatever.
Right.
Maybe you'll like this. It was a goddamn fucking prison fucking toilet with the sink built on the metal fucking.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, what the fuck? How does that even
They
work?
must have known
dude?
that you were fucking did some county
Right.
time there, Chris. You know, I don't know.
It's fucking weird.
All right, so there's not a lot known about this guy's childhood, but what we do know is he was born in 1934 in Rochester, New York, which is up north in New York State. I mentioned, you know, that's the main reason that he was suspected for the alphabet murders because he was from there. And there's some other similarities, which we'll get to, but, you know, the whole thing with the first initial and last name being the same, how weird was that? And especially that one victim, Cologne, is the same Carmen Cologne.
Yeah, as
in
the alphabet
both
killer.
The alphabet murders and these murders we're going to talk about, same name,
That's
Joey. How
fucking-
fucked up is that?
Yeah, that's fucking beyond ironic, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, but he was cleared with DNA. So they checked and he wasn't the guy, and they've never caught the alphabet
Yeah,
killer.
alphabet
That one's
murder's
still unsolved.
Cold case going on now, yeah.
And they were young girls. This is not dealing with young girls. This guy, which is one reason they didn't think maybe it was him, because he tended, you know, to obviously to go with the older women, but, you know, who knows? But he was cleared of it. So in Rochester, you know, he's accused of rape. So this, you know, his crimes did start in Rochester. The judge gives him probation.
For rape.
Yeah, he winds up getting fucking into the Air Force, which must have been because Korea was coming up and they needed people, because that's surprising
Right.
that they would have let him in. But if he only got probation, maybe that's why. I don't know. But, you know, he gets out of the Air Force. He meets his wife, Judith. And, you know, who knows how many women he raped when he's in the fucking Air Force, you know.
A lot, I'm sure. I
in
have
other
no doubt.
countries and shit, you know. So it could be, Chris, like the Unterweger, you know, just jet setting the world, raping women.
Fucking
you
rape
know.
him. Yeah, it's like,
Fucked
what a
up.
fucking asshole.
Yeah. 1958, he gets busted again for rape, but all New York does is tells him to leave the fucking state. What the
Right.
fuck is the deal with that?
How is
Get the fuck out of here.
But honestly, when I lived in Connecticut, I don't know if my just warped mind remembers it this way, but it was when I was there, which would have been in the 80s, it was a thing that if you were on like public assistance for beyond a certain period of time, like a year,
right?
you were given, they stopped it, and you were given a bus ticket anywhere but there.
That's fucking crazy.
Wherever you want to fucking go, here's a bus ticket.
Just
Get the fuck out of
of the
here.
state. That's
So
fucking
that
crazy.
was a thing then. So this doesn't totally shock me, but
Right,
that's
right.
fucked up. You know, just passing your problems on to another state, you know. So he winds up getting out to California, and him and his wife were married for 18 years. And even after the divorce, they continue to see each other from time to time. Very strange situation with these two. She
Right,
winds
right.
up living near San Francisco, but really a weird kind of,
I mean,
because most people don't like go hang out with their ex-wife. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
not usually.
usually it's like, get the fuck away from me.
Right.
Like, that's why you're at my
Well,
ex-wife.
they did have the kids, so I mean, they had to have some kind of
True.
contact.
True. So they have a son, right, Chris?
Yeah, yeah.
Charles?
Charles and I got diagnosed with schizophrenia,
Yeah.
and I mean, Joe apparently took care of him as he's getting older, but
Yeah, I mean, he really did. So, but they, like you said, Chris, they got this son and he's got some special needs.
right.
So they're both having to help out. So, you know, I guess that's good. You know, that they
it
had
makes sense.
civil.
I guess at least he's taking care of his kid. And
Right.
did his kid fucking rape anybody with his schizophrenia?
Not that I'm aware of.
mean-
Not that I'm aware of. So Joe's living in that San Francisco area as well in the 1970s. Then he moves to Piedmont, California in the 80s, and then Sacramento in the late 80s until 2003, before he finally moves and settles in Reno, Nevada. So
Oh yeah.
Reno 911 hanging
Right,
out with fucking Naso. So Joey, this guy is a serial rapist, and what does he do, man? We've heard this story before, like old Harvey Glattman.
Oh my God!
What's this guy's deal? How does he meet these women, man?
Yeah, he had a fucking a gig, and he would tell them that, you know, he was a photographer,
Right.
and he would you know, make them into a model basically. He had business cards and everything else, and I mean, this is back in the 70s when he was first doing this, so
Right.
very believable, I'm sure, to some of these people, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so he would get them, you know, to fucking pose in lingerie. More than that, I mean, he had
Yeah.
them where he needed them so he could sexually assault them.
Right. And they were older women, so they were flattered.
Right.
Kind of like Boston Strangler was doing that
That's
shit.
exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, Boston Strangler, Harvey Glattman, these motherfuckers had a good in with that photography angle, you know?
Yeah. Fucking
So-
measuring man.
Yeah, there you go. Right? Boston Strangler, measuring.
Yep.
The measuring man. I forgot about
yeah, that was good. Another thing about Naso is that he kept day-to-day accounts of what he did on calendars. Oh, my God.
And that's so
Stacks
much.
and stacks of those fucking cheesy ones you get for free at the bank, you know,
Right.
those kind
Yeah.
of calendars. And he's writing on every fucking date, went to Walmart, picked up Charles, that was the son, saw a pretty girl at the bus stop.
Liked her legs.
Yeah. Yeah. What was his thing for nailed or get what he had a phrase. I've got it down in here, but nailed her or whatever his phrase was.
Give it to her or put it to her.
Put it to her. That's what it was. Put that on the calendar. You know?
Put it to her.
Like, what the fuck with this guy?
Dude, one of the most fucked up ones I thought I saw whenever I was reading those was he said one of his notes was like fuck, what the hell was it?
Don't know.
Never mind. Oh yeah, he said I took her in the back of my car. She cried. I didn't. I loved it.
Right. God damn.
Yeah,
dude.
that was fun. I saw the She Cried a few times. He was all about that. So really fucked up. So Chris, Joe Naso winds up getting busted in 2008 in California. But what's he wind up doing? Some
dumb
Charles
shit.
Ng fucking bullshit here.
Yeah, he just robbing some fucking booze for one.
Right? Because he was a cheap ass,
dude.
Hey, that's fucking liquor, man.
That's right.
Like, fucking stealing some fucking booze and some fucking groceries apparently. And,
motherfucker got to eat.
Man's got to eat.
Boom. Fucking goddamn. Yeah, he ends up fucking getting busted for that. Gets probation.
Yeah, and they wind up transferring that to Reno, so they let him move.
I guess California and fucking Nevada have some kind of
agreement where
they can do that with somebody on probation. I don't remember exactly what it is, but there's some kind of thing between Nevada and
I think I read that too. And we brought up Charles Ng. The other one that comes to mind, Robert Durst,
right?
Stealing the ham sandwich or whatever. Fucking dude's a millionaire, stealing a ham sandwich and gets busted. I mean, how fucking dumb is that? Right. Charles Ng with the Vice. I mean, just some dumbass shit, but he gets busted.
You're out here doing all these fucking major fucking crimes, and you're going to do some petty ass shit.
Right.
Like,
just because you're cheap.
Right.
Somebody else that fucking loved to do that too, but didn't really get caught for shoplifting was Ted Bundy.
That's right.
It's true. Yeah.
That motherfucker was committing hella heinous crimes and still out just stealing shit nonstop.
Stupid shit.
He just never got caught for the shoplifting.
Right,
they love the thrill of it. They get addicted to it.
It's a drug.
So we just hear stories like this before, and it just kind of makes me laugh. They also found the bullet on him, which is what wound up getting him busted for a probation violation. So, Joey, the cops what do they wind up doing, man? They were just on the fucking ball here.
Yeah, and I mean, he has a probation violation, so that fucking automatically opens up, to where they can fucking just come in and check his place out.
Right.
So they go into his house, and he has 2 rooms that have padlocks on them.
Right.
So they're like, look. Yeah, and they're like, no, you got to open these up so we can take a look in here.
Threw a fucking fit about that.
Yeah, they fucking throw open the doors, and what's over there? A bunch of fucking mannequins, all dressed in lingerie. They're all like posed in sexy fucking poses and shit.
Right.
Stop! You're chubbing me up.
Yeah. So that's the first shit that they see. But then after going through the stuff, they end up finding the list that has the codes with what they believe is the 10 women he murdered.
Right.
And also, there was a bullet on him.
Right.
Like just a single bullet, but that was enough to give him the probation violation.
There was something else that he had. I don't know if it was an ad or something for a weapon that was the same caliber where the work with the bullet. Right. So they were able to nail him on this probation violation. But then, I mean, the lingerie mannequins, I guess nothing illegal about that, but
that's
weird as fuck. Like a lot of them. And then did you see there were like suitcases with like a bunch of legs in them?
Yeah, just the mannequin legs.
And arms. And like he had, it was just like beyond fucked up.
The fact that he didn't dismember bodies is kind of with the mannequin appendages laying around. Like,
really weird.
Odd.
So, we hear stories, though, about these probation officers that dropped the ball, but this guy was fucking on it. I mean, a lot of these guys, I've heard stories at least, kind of half-assed, but this motherfucker catches him, does his fucking job, and follows up on this dude. He's living out in the middle of fucking nowhere in this house that was so fucking like hoarded shit.
Oh, yeah.
The front door was barricaded shut. You had to go in through the back. I mean, it was just creepy as fuck.
Like rotting meat and shit on the counters and whatnot.
Yeah,
dude.
really
like,
dirty
gross.
and nasty. So It's a fucked up story.
It blows my mind because like there's a movie that came out in the fucking late 70s or early 80s, one of those, but it's called Maniac.
Yeah.
Tom Savini did all the fucking effects and all that shit. I mean, it's a really badass horror movie, but it's about the same kind of thing. The dude had a whole bunch of mannequins that he kept in his apartment, but then he ended up killing the women and putting their scalps on the mannequins.
Oh shit.
But it's weird because if he had been caught, if Naso had been caught for this shit before that movie, I would have been like, oh yeah, they got the inspiration for that from him,
right?
Because it's so close to it,
right?
But it was so much later that they found it. It's like, wait, maybe Naso fucking loved that movie,
yeah, right? He just watching that movie. He's like, oh, that's what I want to do. Fuck.
So yeah, just a nasty old house. All these fucking calendars with all this information, newspapers, lists, and they stumble on that list with the coded names like we're going to talk about, woman from, Linda, and there's a town called Linda, but that kind of shit. They also found the business cards of his photography business, so that's
he was a
pretty
professional.
Cool. Yeah. So, anybody could go get some cards made up, right?
And to be fair, this dude really did photograph women that were models too, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's
And he did other photography too, not just that.
Right. But I remember after he got caught and stuff, they interviewed a couple models that he had worked with, and one was super adamant that he shouldn't get the death penalty and all that. But these were legit models, so he had his hands in both areas.
Yeah, talking about the business card thing, but I used to joke with Crazy Mike that I was going to get him some business cards that said he worked for MTV.
Yeah.
And then have it be for these, because he was always trying to get women to take fucking nude photos and shit at the shows.
You goddamn right.
You have a fucking business card that says you work for MTV.
You probably get sued.
You're probably going to get a lot of people pretty interested. They might be willing to do some extracurricular activities for said pictures, So Mike would have been all in. But I thought, man, that's pretty fucking creepy because Mike would have maybe taken a little too far.
Maybe.
But anyway, yeah, they found a lot of those true crime mags, Chris. We talked about this before with BTK. Yeah. I mean, a lot of those guys, were all about the true crime magazines with the women tied up.
Pulp Fiction shit.
Yeah, and one had the headline, I thought this was funny, they said this on the documentary, be my sex slave or be my corpse. And Joey, how is that not a Goremonger song?
I mean, that definitely needs to at least be on the back of a t-shirt or something.
Definitely on the back of a shirt would be cool.
Yeah. So just fucked up. Chris with the mannequins, I mean, and they were all headless too, which is weird.
Dude, he probably trying to hook up a sweet ass fucking haunted house. Maybe he really liked Halloween, and he just I know how to creep people out. Fucking get these mannequins hung up, strung up all over the place.
But what about in his garage though? That was the mannequins that really stood out because in the garage,
hanging from nooses and shit.
He had 10 of them posed, and there were a couple of them by nooses, but they wondered if those were the 10 women that he had on his list. So really, really fucked up. But this dude was really, really into this shit.
He loved it.
He was all, late 70s. He's doing this shit. The cops, he's in his late 70s. So the cops are just freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, this dude's an old man by the time.
Yeah, by the time they catch him, he's old as fuck.
So he's in his 70s, late 70s. The cops are freaking out. He's meticulous, though, about the lingerie. Did you see that he had a thing for black stockings with the seam that went up the back? And if he didn't have pictures of them in those, he would draw the seam in line with a Sharpie.
No, I didn't see that. Holy fuck.
Yeah, really, really fucked up. Definitely into that shit. The pictures they found in there too, the guys in the apartment or the house, stacks and stacks of these pictures of women wearing lingerie, some of them looking like they're dead or unconscious or something like that. So that's when they really started to wonder, wow, what the hell did we just find here? Thousands and thousands of these pictures. They also found journals organized by year, him detailing these rapes in detail, like Joey was talking about. Little phrases like "I put it to her good," stuff like that. And the cops actually referred to that as his rape diary.
Yeah,
So-
rape journal, rape diary. Yeah,
Yeah.
like fucking. Yeah, and they talk about that in the trial, fucking too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
And this
Go ahead,
dude,
go
by the end of it, he basically has like 4 victims murdered, that they knew about.
right,
10 of them that they assumed that he did.
right.
But to be honest, the amount of people that he assaulted and everything else,
Oh
and
my
committed
God.
crimes
God.
against
Hundreds.
since the 70s. Oh yeah, way more
Astronomical, yeah.
Than what they, yep.
Right. And Joey, at a bare minimum, they've got a serial rapist on their hands,
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. He was at least doing that, if not other stuff.
Right.
The fact that he kept he kept a lot of journals, his rape diary, and all that. So the possibility that it probably is around 10 homicides is probably pretty close because he documented all that.
Right.
Right.
But it's just hard to tell though.
Yeah. And Chris, that murder list we've been talking about of 10 victims,
Yeah.
It almost looks like a shopping list, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like the girl from like near Port Costa and fucking the girl from Leavenworth, and it just like, and when they get into it and they're reading all this and they notice all these bodies that have been found that's like been in these areas.
Yeah, he lived in the
And
area.
he was there, like, and like right close to where these bodies were found.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck.
Unsolved,
Yeah, and
Jane
that's-
Does that they found, or they knew the victim, but they had no idea who killed her.
Right, and he's
Right,
got
right.
it detailed out. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit, how the fuck do you know this?
And they start figuring these out, like Joey just said. They were able to get 4 of them on the list figured out that
Right.
it was him, with very convincing evidence, of course. So the cops have this huge fucking mess to sort out. They start going down the list and trying to see if they can match him up. And the lead detective was Rick Brown, who did just an amazing job. I mean, he's on the documentary that I watched, I've referenced on Prime, called The Murder List, which I can't recommend enough. It's really good. And they formed this Naso task force because they knew this was going to be big and going into other states. So
Fuck yeah.
they were like all about it. They said it took 3 weeks to process everything at Naso's house.
That's a long time.
And the only thing they left in the house when they were done was his refrigerator. Everything else was gone.
Honestly, as much shit as they found in his house and his hoarder style as it was, 3 weeks really isn't that long, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like-
I mean, I guess it depends how many people were doing it
There's
too.
that,
you
yeah.
know? I mean, CK's collection took 3 days, right?
Right? His wasn't a murder collection, though.
No, all his albums and stuff.
I can't think it right now how long it was, but fucking the excavation and fucking everything from Gacy's house when they did that.
True.
I know that took a fucking long time too.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, they had a jackhammer up that concrete and all that.
Hell yeah.
While he's in jail, his ex-wife Judith comes to visit him. The cops are, of course, listening in and recording it, and he's telling her to go to the house and get some things out of his house so they wouldn't know about some of his
Right. Like,
deeds.
hey, I got
Safety
this box.
deposit box,
Like, get the
keys,
fuck-
and shit like that. She says, "Fuck you, I'm not doing it." And he gets all fucking mad. The cops then, of course, now hearing this, go find the keys to the
always
safe
makes me-
deposit box.
It always makes me wonder what these motherfuckers, when they're like
Yeah, what are you
talking to
thinking?
someone, like you really don't think the cops are recording everything you're saying while you're in that fucking room.
Right?
Come on,
I know.
man.
It's really dumb. It's really-
Especially like 2010. It's not like this was a long time ago
Right,
where
exactly.
it's possible you don't know. You fucking know.
Right. It's like it isn't like it was like in the 70s or whatever. Like
Good point.
it might not.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2010. Everything's getting fucking recorded. Dude.
Exactly. So they wind up going to one of the safety deposit boxes because there was more than one. They find $150,000 in cash in this motherfucker.
That's what's up.
And he's known to be a cheapskate, so he's been squirreling fucking money away all these years, living like a fucking bum in this fucking house, all nasty and everything. And Joey, what do they find in the other safety deposit box?
Well, they got a second one that they had, and he's got a bunch of these pictures of women glued on these cardboard cards, with the other side having like articles and stuff about them, about their the missing cases, or if they're found murdered and stuff like that.
Right.
Doing this, they fucking get connected to Yuba County, to a homicide over there.
Yep.
The girl from Linda. And I mean, Linda's a small town in Yuba County, so that's how they were, first got to put that together.
It's not like Linda was her mom,
right?
and if you've heard Yuba County from us, that's because we did an episode before.
Yeah, Yuba County 5. That was a good one. So so they find these cards with these women's pictures and articles. So Chris, they start.
Well, I was just going to say too, real fast. You got to think that. He's got these particular pictures of these women and all this shit in a security deposit box.
Right.
He's got all his other crap just in his house or his garage.
Right.
Which also there's some evidence there. So the fact that he took these and put them in a safety deposit box,
they meant a lot.
They had to have meant something a little extra.
Oh yeah. Of course, you're not going to pay for a safety deposit box unless it's fucking important. And he didn't want to forget, about these victims. So Chris, they take that victim from Yuba County, the girl from Linda, and they figure out it's Pamela Parsons, a 34-year-old waitress from Yuba County. So,
again, with the double letters.
Right.
Yeah, the Pamela Parsons.
Just like the alphabet killer.
That's
really weird.
PP.
Yeah.
Yeah, they found fucking pictures of her and fucking she reported missing in 1993 and shit, and they found her body, and she was like the nude body of this woman with ligature marks on her neck, and weren't sure what the hell she got choked with, but it gets figured out pretty simple because
it does.
He loves stockings.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely. Yeah. We're gonna get to that.
Stockings.
Always with this, man. Like these motherfuckers,
damn.
like these women, we're gonna get to this. Now, the cops are looking at detailed calendars. They start looking at the time in 1993 when Pamela Parsons was missing. They find an entry for September 15th that said, "Got even for an old score."
Hell yeah.
So the cops are like, huh? And apparently she was approached by a photographer, according to her family, and took pictures with him. The family, of course, was telling her, be careful, but she's like, oh, no, it's all good.
Yeah, he's a professional.
Yeah, he's got business cards.
Right, yeah, he's got business cards.
He works for MTV. No. So his name's Crazy Mike. No, Naso, Crazy Joe. Naso believed that, she stole something from him during the shoot. So that was his getting even for an old score by killing her. So
yeah. That's
pretty fucked up. Did they say what she stole from him?
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought somewhere I heard what it was, but then when I watched that doc again, they don't mention it. So I don't know what it was, but whatever it was important.
Right.
And they believe that she was the girl from Linda, which is number 9 on the murder list. So now they may believe they have a serial killer, assuming that, now you got 9 other victims on this list and 10 mannequins posed in the garage, maybe this is the real thing.
Something just ain't sitting right with this shit.
So the next one they start investigating, another with the double initials, Tracy Tafoya.
So weird.
Really weird. A 31-year-old prostitute murdered in 94 in Marysville, California. And this is the one on the list they thought was the girl from, in the initials, MRSV on the list. So, could be Marysville. This Tracy Tafoya had a very tough life. Her husband ran off with her kids. She, started getting into, drugs and having some issues. She has another baby that died. So she totally fell apart, and she's working the streets. And Joey, I mean, we've heard this story before with the prostitutes, man.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's not a fucking new thing for us,
No.
I mean, it's just weird. Like, did he pick his victims specifically for their names, like the Alphabet Killer, or what was his other reasoning for doing this.
Could it possibly be that random
That
like
just
that?
coincidence.
It's so
like-
bizarre.
Yeah, it's so weird. But I mean, her body is like, it's very close to where Pamela Parsons' body was
Right.
found.
Right.
Not far at all.
She's naked with the same exact ligature marks on her neck.
Right.
But she was too decomposed, but they did find out, she was missing a finger, which got linked to a firework accident
Right.
from back in the day. So they were able to put that together that was her. And I can't remember. I was thinking it was this victim, but I can't remember which one. That whenever they ended up finding the evidence, and I think they found one of the ligatures that they used, one of the pair of stockings. But not only did they find, his DNA linked to it, but also his wife's.
That's one coming up. That's not this one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one coming up.
Yeah, that was
very
crazy,
fucked up. Now, Chris, they found the entry on his calendar for August '94 with "Met Tracy, put it to her."
That's
That's so fucking ridiculous.
It
Yeah,
is on a calendar. Like really,
yeah.
dude? What the fuck?
He's like putting this shit on the count, like put it to her. He killed this woman, and even like some of his like rape victims and shit. He'd be talking about, oh, I really liked her. I wish I could have married her or whatever. It's like, dude, you are out here committing all these violent sex crimes to these women, but you want to marry them. That's the way to court a woman, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like fuck.
Exactly.
Dude.
This guy's
So, yeah,
just so fucked up.
Yeah, but they're getting more evidence on this dude, and they figure that she's number 10 on the list, and they're getting closer and closer to him. Like,
Yeah, they're starting to knock him off
they're
this
like, oh,
list,
we're-
which is
we're
pretty
figuring
impressive
you out,
work.
dude.
Like I said, these cops deserve all the credit here.
Right.
Now, thankfully, the judge, when they bring Naso in, they gives him a full year in the Washoe County Jail, which is, of course, they mention that all the time
Right.
in Reno 911,
They-
Washoe County.
Which is smart because they building this case on him. They already got him in jail on this probation violation. So
Right, for a full year.
You're in jail. You can't fucking do nothing. You can't go nowhere.
Right.
We got you. We're working on our fucking shit
Right,
against
but
you.
they know they got the clock is ticking because
Right.
they got 1 year before
Right,
this
right.
motherfucker gets let out. So
Sometimes they just need that one, fucking arrest on these people to hold them for whatever.
Right.
Like whenever Gacy first got busted before they did the search warrants, he got caught for
pot.
selling weed. Yeah.
right?
So it was something small, but it's enough to hold your
Hold 'em
suspect
exactly.
while you figure it out.
Right. Yeah. Very good point. So yeah, he's doing a year in the Washoe County Jail there in Reno. So these guys, April of 2013 is when the clock starts ticking. They interview him in jail, of course, hoping to get a confession,
He ain't
but this
doing that.
motherfucker's not having any of that. He's being all fucking coy and fucking slick. He doesn't admit to a damn thing. He doesn't even admit to knowing the victims, at least at first.
No, at first they were just talking to him kind of blindly and randomly about, some murders that happened or whatever. Then they brought up an actual name of one of the victims. And once they did that, he was like, fuck you, I ain't talking
I
no
ain't
more.
talking no
Right.
more. I'm done.
Yeah,
Yep.
he knew the deal. So they hoped to get something out of him, but they didn't. And the psychiatrist who was appointed to treat him had also talked to Shawcross, Joel Rifkin, Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, this guy definitely had some
Oh, he's been there.
pedigree.
Yeah.
And he said,
I mean, was that dude working for like the FBI or something? Because that's some
I'm not
big
sure.
names,
oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
You would think he would have to have been, or
Yeah.
very highly regarded that these different police departments were hiring him to do this. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like fucking Silence of the Lambs, Jodie Foster and shit.
Right. So the psychiatrist said Naso was a narcissist. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
And a sexual sadist like these other ones, Shawcross, Rifkin, and Dahmer. He also talked about Naso being a necrophile, which, thanks to Slayer, that's where I learned about necrophilia, And so I remember when I heard about it, I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. Dudes or people like fucking with dead bodies. But this dude explained it's not just dead bodies. it's women that are unconscious or unresponsive, which is where the whole mannequin thing
Right.
he believed come from. So
And
that's
choking
interesting.
him, choking him unconscious and doing your thing. And
Yeah, but the mannequins, they're also inanimate. They can't do anything. They can't tell him no.
Right.
And that was his thing. So the necrophile is not just dead bodies. It could be the unconscious, unresponsive as well.
Give him drugs.
He said he was charming and a good liar, and said he was able to con these women into just about anything. And I saw that the guy said, if somebody's charming and a good liar, is definitely not going to be somebody a woman wants anything to do with. It's kind of funny the way he said it, but so because he's an older dude.
Yeah.
Of course, they were flattered that he wanted to take these pictures, as we pointed out. Since they were all a little bit older, in their 30s.
It's like, I'm still attractive.
Yeah,
Fucking
a
A.
woman or anybody, starts to get older and they feel bad. Like, well,
Shit, I'm still a sexy beast.
I don't look like I did when I was 22 or whatever, So the doctor also said that Naso kept a list to remember the victims, which is obvious. So as he aged, he wouldn't forget. And he did believe that the 10 mannequins in the garage were symbolic of the 10 victims. So he seemed to agree with all that.
Right.
Now, Joey, the cops talked about Naso, bragging about how smooth he was. What was the deal with that, man?
Well, and what they're trying to do is they already know that he's a narcissist. They saw how, he was diagnosed and whatnot.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're trying to build him up and make him feel like he's the shit.
Right.
And, they're trying to get him to admit to shit accidentally by fucking bragging on himself, basically. But then once again, they fucking bring him a picture of Pamela Parson, where she possibly looked dead, or he said that she was acting dead, but
probably
we know,
not.
Right. We know that she definitely might have been dead.
Yeah.
But that's whenever, once again, he was like, nope, I'm shutting up again. They almost had him talking, I guess, and showing him that he was just like, no, fuck that. But, at least he did say he knew her, though.
Right. Yeah, that's where he slipped with that one, as he said that
Yeah.
he knew her, and the other ones he didn't even admit that. So
Right. Yeah,
That's
once you
fucked up.
say that you know somebody, then it's a whole nother fucking
Right.
ballpark of questions and shit. Like, oh, okay, well, you know them. Well,
Right.
now how about this?
how do you
this?
know him? And
Yeah.
when did you last see him? And all that. So the cops tried to get him to cave by talking about the victims' families, hoping to kind of tug at the heartstrings. But
But he ain't got none of that.
if the guy's this fucking psychopath, he's not going to have any fucking sympathy for anybody, which,
Right, right.
anybody that knows about those dudes is definitely, that's their thing. They don't have any feelings, which is why they can do what they do. They also found articles about the death of Sarah Dillon. This one is wild.
That is crazy.
Yeah, the Bob Dylan's wife had the same name, so they're like, could it possibly be?
But it
So
wasn't, yeah.
they're tracking it down. They get a hold of like a manager or a publicist for Bob Dylan.
Right,
Like,
right.
No, his wife's alive,
Yeah,
and
this
then
chick,
they tell him that there's this woman, that kind of groupie that hangs around following Bob Dylan's
Right,
band
her name
around.
was something Shapiro. She goes and gets her name legally changed to Sarah Dillon because she was that much of a fan of Bob
Right.
Dylan.
What was
like,
her first name?
I
Because I was
can't-
just wondering, did she have the double initials too? Her real name?
Right.
I can't remember.
I'm not
I know her
sure.
last name was Shapiro.
That would be fucked up if one of you can maybe Google that on
Man,
your
yeah,
phone.
I can't
and
remember
see,
offhand.
what her real name was. Because if it was a double initial with her real name, that would even be even weirder with this story. But yeah, she's following
I'm
him
gonna
around.
check it out real quick, see if I can't figure that out.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, what's fucking creepy is that this girl changed her name to Dylan's fucking wife's name.
Yeah,
that's
creepy
fucking
too.
weird as
Yeah,
shit.
that's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
fucking weird as hell.
that is weird. And followed him all over the world. I
Right.
mean, like,
Yeah,
who the
yeah.
fuck's got that kind of money to just follow
Well,
a
I mean,
band all over the world?
She just be hitchhiking to a lot of this shits in the
Well,
States.
she went
That's
to
how
Hawaii.
Yeah,
she went
yeah.
to Europe. I mean, she's been to other places with them. It's just
But
so
still.
fucked up. So, but like you said, Joey, I thought the same thing. Like, how fucking creepy would that be if
Yeah, man. Like,
somebody
you're a fucking
did that.
weirdo yourself.
right? Exactly. But she they're able to put Naso in the same area of California of this concert she was supposed to go to at the Warfield Theater in 92, and she was not seen there. But
her name was Renee Shapiro.
Renee, that was it. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Well, that thank you. But yeah, that's that would have been really weird. So she's not seen at this theater, which everybody was surprised, the regulars.
Right.
Where's fucking Sarah? She's not here. Okay. So they know something's up, and Naso is in the same area. The cops keep working this. They try to find missing persons or Jane Does that would match up, but they're hitting some dead ends. So some of the ones on the list they could not figure out. But then they find the next case, the murder of Carmen Colon, another double initial here.
Right.
Another prostitute found dead in 1978.
I was born in 1978.
You were. So was Jenny. They do wind up, though, finding fingernail scrapings that they kept, which is awesome, to get DNA from. So they didn't know if there was enough, but they were hopeful. And so, Chris, they believe Carmen Colon is number 2 on the list.
Fuck yeah, the girl from Port Costa. He's just fucking getting away with all these fucking rapes and shit. And he should be in prison already for rape.
Right.
There's no reason he should be out here doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You give him probation.
Right.
You just kick him out of your state.
Right.
Go do it to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reason this guy should have fucking been doing all these other murders and crimes or whatever like that.
No.
He should just be gone. And what the fuck?
Yeah.
It don't make any sense.
It's
to
frustrating.
Me, man.
It really is.
It
But
really
the cops out here, though, they were the ones that fucking brought this shit to justice.
Oh yeah, dude.
Which is awesome. But the others and the state of New York kicking him out and all that, that's fucked up.
Fucking California cops, they're like, no, we are fucking getting this dude done, dude.
Yeah, and just like Gacy, if he would have served his whole bit in Iowa, the day he got out was the day he got arrested.
Yeah.
In Chicago for killing 33 fucking kids. So, if these motherfuckers would serve their fucking time, a lot of this shit wouldn't fucking happen. It's very,
there's
very
the
frustrating.
overpopulation shit, man. I mean, if you're gonna fucking keep people in fucking prison, it might as well be the motherfuckers that sold a little bit of weed. Not let the murderers.
Exactly.
Don't keep the murderers and rapists in there.
Yeah, right.
The weed guys are the ones you got to keep, man. They are dangerous. They are dangerous.
Now, unfortunately, this is in an era where rapes were not taken as seriously. Often the women were found at fault for not telling the truth and shit like that. I know we did that when we talked about the Starved Rock murders.
Right.
Those.
Oh, did you see that shit?
What's that?
Dude, recently fucking DNA fucking came back on dude. He's good.
Really?
Yeah, that just came out like last week or within the past week or so.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
My fucking cousin lives up there in Streeter, which is right by fucking Starved Rock and shit, and she fucking about it, dude. Yeah,
because there was all kinds of people saying he didn't do it, and that Steve Stout, he believed he did. So that's interesting.
That DNA came back,
interesting.
Dude.
Charles Uyghur.
Uyghur. Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder if whoever really did it got fucking scared and burned down the Bear Lodge.
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah. Definitely want to check that out. But our Starved Rock murder case.
That's a good brutal rewind right there.
That is.
That is a good brutal rewind. So the cops find out the DNA was a partial match to Naso on the clippings from Carmen's fingernails. Not enough for the prosecutor to charge him, which I don't understand. If you've got a partial match and some other things, why you didn't feel you could prosecute, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not a prosecutor. I just play one on a podcast. Then they start to see a pattern of the victims, first and last names like we talked about. You got Carmen Colon, Tracy Tafoya, Pamela Parsons, following that double initial thing, and that's when they think that maybe he had something to do with the Alphabet murders in 1972 in Rochester, since that's where he was from. It makes sense. But again, they cleared him of that with some DNA.
Right. The weird thing is the one.
Yeah, and that one girl, Carmen Colon, same name as the woman that was
Spelled the
killed
same.
later.
Spelled
Really
the same and
fucking
everything.
weird.
It's so fucking crazy.
Really weird. Joey, just an odd coincidence with the names, or do you think he actually was out fucking looking for double initial victims like that?
I mean, it's hard to tell because it seems like he put a lot into his crimes, I guess I'll say. Like he documented them and he, put a lot into them. So it's possible that he may have been trolling and stalking these people and figured out the name and been like, okay, that's a good victim. But
Yeah.
I mean, if I was really to say what I thought, no, I think this was a coincidence.
Yeah, I think so too. A crazy coincidence, but I'm thinking,
Yeah, absolutely wild.
It's a
And the fact
coincidence.
that one person's name is the exact same as another set of
That's
homicides.
So
right,
crazy.
off the charts, fucking insane. But Joey, they've got the clock is ticking. They got 9 months left before Naso gets out, and they're working.
He'd been in there for a year. Now he's got 9 months left. So, you feel like you got a lot of time having him for a year, but before you know it, fucking starts slipping away, and you got to come up with something a little more solid.
Right.
That's not going to be configured as coincidental or have any reasonable doubt that this guy might get off.
Right. So there's some of these names on the list, the cops are just not able to figure it out, or the victims were too decomposed to get any kind of evidence or anything down the, at this point. But there's a case, 1977, Roxine Rogash or Rogasich.
Another double R.
Right.
Another double
letter.
initial. They believe that she is the girl from Lagunitas, which she was from that area of California. She's an 18-year-old that was murdered, pretty wild, running around. She was also working as a prostitute, hitchhiking a lot. But that was a thing, in the 70s.
Right.
This is a cold case, though. They found the body, but no idea who killed her until 2010, when the Naso story becomes known and this list of victims comes out. So
Yeah, they find their fucking body, dude. Like, now, here's where it gets fucking deep, because she got
she's a
these
little
fucking-
different than the other one.
Yeah, they find her with fucking 4 different fucking pairs of pantyhose in different parts of her body. She got pair of pantyhose just like on her, whatever, turned inside out, and then they had another pair stuffed in her mouth with a pair wrapped around, holding that pair into her fucking in her mouth as the gag and whatnot. And then
another pair around
there's
her
another
neck.
pair around her neck. That's what she got choked out with, obviously.
Yeah,
And fucking
fucked up.
and now chicks don't wear shit like that no more. They're like, oh, you ain't killing me with my own garments. Fuck you.
Right? Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
Not to mention what woman's gonna have 4 pairs of pantyhose with her?
Well, exactly. That's what's
true.
up. He brought that shit with
exactly.
him. Like,
Exactly.
He had to bring that. Because,
And, pantyhose is apparently, I Googled this, had gone out of fashion in like the 90s. So, like, women don't typically wear them anymore. But, ladies, I mean, wear some tearaway shit, that
like,
you're not going to get choked with.
I think the only people that wear like fucking pantyhose these days is like the dudes from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Or Ricky and the Trailer Park Boys
Right.
over his head.
Right, yeah.
The bank robbers and shit like that. So now the cops are really thinking Naso is involved here due to his obsession with these stockings and pantyhose, plus that whole Lagunitas tie on his lift. So, I mean, it's on his list. So, I mean, he's definitely, they're starting to kind of check the boxes here with him. And they're able to extract some DNA from the pantyhose, Joey. This is what you were referring to. This is fucked up.
Right.
Because first, I mean, there's 4 pair of pantyhose with this victim, but they got some semen stains on one of the pairs that they're able to finally match to Naso. They get a hit also on some DNA that wasn't his and wasn't the victim's, but Joey, what the fuck? It's his fucking
wife, Judith.
Yeah, his ex-wife.
Yeah.
So how the fuck is her DNA end up on these? Obviously, he's cheap ass is like raiding the fucking hamper, taking her nasty fucking dirty pantyhose and
Getting them legs.
and stuffing them in this poor bitch's mouth and tying them around her head. I mean, that's just nasty, you know. Fucking his ex-wife's fucking dirty pantyhose, using them to bind and gag this poor woman, and her DNA is on him too. So they got this motherfucker every way till fucking Sunday. Finally, Joey, they're able to pin it on Joe Naso.
Yeah, they got him. They show up the day that he's supposed to be let out of Washoe County Jail.
Yeah, this is fucking sweet.
April 11th, 2011, he's getting out, and they are sitting there like, oh, hey, guess what? We got you.
You're under arrest.
You ain't
again.
going nowhere. Yeah.
How much of a buzzkill, Joey, would that be, stepping out of jail or prison, thinking you're going like to a bar and getting fucked up and
or
all
in
whatever
Naso's
else.
case, go rape another victim.
Yeah.
I mean, now Naso's super old by this time, so I don't even know if his dick's getting hard, but I know that, like, when I was locked up, there was a handful of people that I was locked up with that were like, had cases that were pending on the outside or whatever the situation was. And every one of them dudes, it was like, fucking, okay, am I going to get out when I'm supposed to? Or is that county going to be waiting for me when I get out?
Oh, sure.
Right. And that would suck.
Because yeah, and for some of them, like if their crime or whatever wasn't that serious, then the probability is that, you know, the cops were gonna fucking let it slide or whatnot. But there were some people that they really wanted, and it's like, look, you got an out date in 3 months, but guess what? You ain't fucking going nowhere. So don't even get used to the idea of seeing any freedom.
Right. That's fucked up.
I can't say that Naso he might have been like that. He might have had an idea that they were going to come get him. You know,
It's possible.
But they definitely took it down to the last minute, though.
Right.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, he's coming out. He's fucking shocked as hell. They pull like a Chris Hansen on his ass. You know.
Right.
So they interrogate him again, hoping he would confess, and maybe he could just help them figure out these other 6 victims. But he doesn't help them out at all. He's just fucking with them. He won't say anything. He smiles, though, when they show him pictures that he took of the women that looked like they were dead, which reminds me of what the doctor said about him liking the women that were unresponsive.
That made him happy.
So, yeah, he was loving that shit. Because you got to think, he'd been in jail all this time. He didn't have access to his pictures. Right. So I'm sure it was like nice for him to be able to see his pictures again.
And fucking like Ted Bundy's ex-girlfriend, after he got caught, like she told them about how he used to tell her to act like she was dead.
Oh, yeah.
Don't move, you know, don't breathe, and all this shit. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm, you know, taking pictures of them. Are they alive? Are they dead? Hard to tell.
Yeah, exactly. So this guy is a true psychopath, showing no emotion at all about these victims. And even if they tried to bring up his ex-wife and son, trying to play that angle, you know, he just doesn't give a fuck. He's not helping them out at all. So, Chris, June 2013.
Yeah.
78-year-old Joe Naso goes on trial,
dude. You know what he does?
He do?
He does the best thing every judge loves. He's going to represent himself.
Oh, this never ends well, Chris.
And his narcissism comes out like hardcore.
Right. I could do this, you know.
Yeah, like for real. And
I'm the smartest guy in the room.
They get he even has to like cross-examine his ex-wife and shit. And that kind of turns into like a battle between ex-wife and ex-husband right there.
Right.
The War of the Roses.
Right, yeah, dude. Like it doesn't turn out good for him.
No.
At all.
You know, we just watched a documentary, not a true crime. Well, it was true crime. It was a guy that like scammed a bunch of money from the IRS, taking all these different identities. He gets arrested. They put him in jail, and he gets all these law books, and he finds that the way they surveilled him using this high-tech instrument was a violation of other people's private lives, because they were able to scan like his cell phone. And he actually went represented himself, and the judge was like completely blown away. The attorney that was on this documentary said the shit he was doing was like somebody that went to Yale or Harvard,
Right.
like top of their class, like unbelievable briefs he wrote, requests, all this shit, and he wound up fucking
That's
getting his
crazy.
time greatly reduced. They gave him time served, even though they could have put him away for 20 or 30 years.
That's crazy.
So that's a rare one, but like you said, Chris, it's always a dumbass fucking thing to do.
Dude, and I saw that like the jury summons or whatever, like when they're picking out the jury, the
Right.
12 people, there was like 1,500,000 whatever that they sent out there to pick 12 people. Could you imagine going through that
Oh,
many
God.
interviews or whatever just to find 12 people for
Yeah.
this jury?
And there's people that
Holy
professionally
shit.
do that. They help
Man.
the attorneys help pick the personalities that are most likely to favor their client.
Right. It's like,
That's fucked
holy
up.
shit, dude. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. But Joey, this totally feeds into the narcissism thing with Naso.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, him being his own lawyer is, I don't know what his decision was for doing that, for the fact that he was a narcissist and he thought that he could do a better job, for the fact that he's an old man by this point, so he don't give a fuck anyway.
Right.
So
Plus, he was a
he's-
cheap ass. Maybe he was trying to get away cheap, not having to pay a lawyer.
and I was trying to think of that too. It's like, yeah, you're not going to pay a lawyer. They found what they say, $150,000,
Right.
but I'm sure that they seized that or something.
Right.
So I don't know what his assets were like.
True.
Because if your assets are more than a certain amount, you can't get a public defender. You have to
that's
pay
a good
for.
point.
Yeah,
Right.
you have to pay for a lawyer. So the other thing I was thinking too is, this guy being a narcissist and being a cheap ass, if he possibly had to get a public defender because they had already, taken all of his assets and everything.
Right.
You're sitting there in prison. This guy's an old guy. He wasn't locked up for a lot of stuff in his life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not like really well versed in the penal system, I guess I'll say.
Right.
So he's sitting in there, and you probably got every fucking person that's in that jail with him telling him like, yo, you don't want a public defender. They work for the state, and they're just there to fuck you over.
Right.
So
right.
so to him, his only option might have been like, well, I gotta try to get myself out of this shit because they ain't gonna help me.
I can see that.
It's true, man. It's very, very possible that was part of the mindset there of him doing this himself. I didn't hear any more about that, but I wondered
Right,
too
right.
what the deal was with that. But did you see that where they questioned him about the rape diary, and he says the word rape didn't mean rape, it meant sex.
Yeah.
And he was meant that he had sex with them or kissed
Yeah,
them
he's
or
like,
made
in
out
my
with them or
social
something stupid
circle is
like
like,
that.
dude, your social circle is rapists.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely fucked up. But there's not much you could say. I mean, they got you dead to rights. I mean, what else are you gonna say? But
Right.
Yeah.
no,
Plus, there's no witnesses that are coming up and being like, "Oh yeah, we used to fool around and we just called it rape for fun."
Dude, I did see
Right.
that like as far as his assets, somehow like he got him liquidated because he was like supposed to like pay restitution to the victims' families or whatever. And they couldn't do anything with any of his money because it was gone already or whatever.
sure.
And then
But he could have sold those mannequins on eBay and made some fucking
Fuck.
the calendars.
Fuck.
That's a murderabilia right
That-
there.
Hell
yeah,
yeah,
like, for real.
God damn.
And also when they went to the sentencing part of the trial, like he was wanting, he represented himself again, but then like I guess the judge made him fucking just pay the fucking public defender. He's like, because he was asking for help with some shit, and he's like, you've had help this whole fucking time. He's been sitting right there while you're doing your bullshit.
Right.
You can just go ahead and pay him, fucking use him, fuck off.
Wow. Fucked up. So during the trial, they're able to prove two more of the cases on the list. One of them was Sharia Patton, whose body washed up on the shore in a garbage bag. So she's not a double initial victim there, but she was number 7 on the list as the lady on 839 Leavenworth, which is an interesting way they figured this one out.
Right.
that was her address, 839 Leavenworth, but Naso lived close by at the time.
Was that what it was? I thought he was like a property carekeeper.
Then maybe that's possible, but he had it tied at very
Yeah.
close to that address. So 30 years later, they're able to pin this one on Naso. They also got a DNA hit on a cold case where some skeletal remains were found in Nevada, and it's the remains of Sarah Dillon. So they believe Naso probably picked her up hitchhiking, which of course she was doing a lot of that. So they believe that's where they met each other, and there was a certain route that he would have taken from where he lived that would have made sense, that that's how they would have found, or that's where he would have run into her.
Right.
So, Chris, the shit is just crumbling for Naso.
I mean,
and what is the outcome of this?
Oh, he's guilty on all of it. He fucking, like, all of the
Four
four
murders.
murders, he's guilty, and he gets 4 fucking death sentences. Like,
Right.
they give him death, fucking. And then he got convicted of the other 2, I think. And at first, when they found the other 2, or they tried to bring the other 2 of the 6 in, but then they're like, we got him on these 4 for sure. Let's
Right.
run these motherfuckers
Right.
and get him on
So they
these.
bring him back for a second trial for the other 2. So they
Right.
wound up getting him for the 6, and then he flips off the jury.
Yeah, he just like, well, he flips off. He was flipping off the fucking victims' families and everything too,
Right.
like a fucking just straight douchebag. Like, fuck you guys,
Yeah.
fuck you. I mean, dude's fucking in his late 70s, early 80s. He just
Right.
don't give a fuck anymore. He's like, whatever, I'm gonna die anyway.
Yeah, I'm 55, and I'm pretty much at the point I don't give a fuck. So I get it. I mean, I can't imagine what I would be at that age. So Joey, if he wouldn't have shoplifted, he might have got away with this shit. What do you think, man?
I fully believe he would have got away with it because, in my opinion, Joe Naso wasn't going to be committing any more crimes like that.
Right.
I think he was too old, and
Right.
that was something that he had done, got away with. But because being the serial killer that he is, he had to have his trophies.
Yeah.
And
A house
I mean,
full.
yeah, if this dude would have just gotten rid of all connections between him and those victims, by that point, even if they had found the mannequins and shit, it just would have been a weird fucking find.
Right.
A weird old dude.
Right.
Like,
Not
whatever,
a
yeah.
list of the 10 victims like that.
And I mean, that makes you fucking think about it, like how many victims there are, unsolved cases and this and that.
Right.
How many fucking serial killers are living right around you that never got caught?
That's true.
That, just because there was no way for the police to look into their lives.
Yeah. And I checked it out. This motherfucker is 88 on death row in San
He
Quentin.
ain't gonna
I mean,
get
what
a
the
death
fuck?
sentence. He ain't dying by lethal injection. or
No, they
anything. He's
haven't
just
killed
gonna
anybody in California for years. But I
Right.
mean, he's on death row at San Quentin at 88. I mean, holy shit. I can't imagine that he's going to be alive much longer. But what the fuck with this guy?
And he's like, basically, he's not in like, he's on death row, but he's not like with the other inmates or whatever. He's like secluded from him, so nothing happens to him. Basically,
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's no way they could put him with the other inmates. So, anything to add to this one, guys? Old Joe Naso.
Nah, fucking all right.
Yeah, no, that's it for me.
Hell yeah. Well, I did my research with this one by watching The Murder List on Prime, which I said that's the one to watch. There are some good articles you can read, but watch the YouTube stuff because they kept putting the alphabet killer mixed in with him. And some of them said that he was cleared of it and this and that. But there were a few that were like, they're testing, they're not sure. So it's very misleading if you knew the whole story. So
Yeah.
watch
My
The Murder List.
the murder list, and then looking into some of the real articles from some of the Bay Area newspapers about it. You can
Right.
see a lot in there too.
Right. And I'm sure there's some podcasts. I didn't get a chance to listen to any of them, but I'm sure I didn't even look to see if there were some, but I'm sure there are. So yeah, so there are some things out there, and it's a fairly recent case. So you should be able to, find some things on him. Now, next week, guys, we're doing another interesting one, a legendary one, the Birdman of Alcatraz, Chris.
Hell yeah, man.
Robert Stroud. Very, very interesting story on him and why they called him the Birdman. Why
Which
did-
we alluded to him when we did the Alcatraz.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's
Yes.
right.
episode.
And we talked about the fact that he was the Birdman of Alcatraz, but he didn't have birds at Alcatraz. So we'll talk. Very good. We'll talk about that whole thing, and we're going to have our buddy Tex on. I talked to him today, and he's doing good. And we just kind of touching base on the new way we're doing this with Joey being remote, and now we're going to have Tex and Joey remote, and we're going to try it in Zoom, so that should be interesting. So we're going to have Tex on for that. We'll do that one next week. And always good to have him on the show. And he definitely, prison stories, definitely in Texas wheelhouse. And that should be good. And a very iconic figure. I mean, most people know that name and know about the whole Alcatraz thing. So we're going to talk about it. And Joey, any page of days for us?
Unfortunately, because I just moved over here,
Right.
I put my page a day somewhere, and I haven't figured out which box it's in yet.
You know what? If you don't have anything, I have one. It's not a page a day, but I got this from Tex.
I know he sent it to me too. I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah,
definitely talk about that.
Yeah. Well, there's a case that I got, or it sounds like we both got, or I don't know if Chris got it too, of that Tex sent me. It's about a woman. I'm not finding it now. I don't know what her name was. I thought it was on a text message, but maybe it was on Messenger. Here we go. This woman, the headline reads, "Morgue assistant uses testicles from corpses to help win an annual spaghetti cook-off."
Get the fuck out of here.
I clicked on the article because I'm like, okay, this has got to be bullshit.
Oh, my
It
gosh.
looks real. Okay. Is this woman, little hefty, from Carterville, Illinois?
Oh, shit.
So
That's why I thought it was so classic, because it was an Illinois case.
Yeah, he didn't realize that when he sent it to me. He's like, oh, damn. So it says Linda Anders, 41, has been a participant in the Carterville annual spaghetti cook-off for the last 12 years. In those dozen years, the highest she placed was second, and Linda knew second was just the first loser. For 2022, and lucky contestant 13, Linda used a secret ingredient that she was sure would give her that extra edge and earn herself the blue ribbon she so desired.
Oh, man.
She worked as a morgue assistant for the Williamson County for 11 months leading up to the cook-off. Linda collected the testicles from deceased adult males.
Oh, my.
She would slice them, dice them, and sew them up without attracting attention. And who was going to notice the missing balls of a dead man anyway?
Nobody.
So the night before the cook-off, Linda's hard at work at preparing her sauce and dropping balls. Whoever wrote this article is cracking me up. The next day, when the judges went around tasting all the contestants' entries, her table had the most attention. Judges were going back for second helpings, something they had never done with her previous entries. The time for the judges to crown a winner was soon approaching. One judge went back for thirds. Only there would be a problem on that third plate of spaghetti that he would derail all of Linda's dreams. That problem, a prosthetic testicle.
Oh.
The judge chomped down on a meatball, and the silicone rubber testicle filled with saline exploded in his mouth, and the jig was, I almost wonder if this is bullshit, but
Dude, that's
it's
still funny.
good.
That's still funny.
The jig was up. Under closer inspection of Anders' meatballs, a discovery was made. The meatballs were not meatballs in the traditional sense, but human testicles. Anders was arrested on site without incident. When asked if she would like an attorney, she would only respond by inquiring she had won the cook-off. Looked like she dropped the ball when it came to quality control.
God damn it.
She need not worry about her meals for the next 10 to 15 years, according to sources inside the district attorney's office.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah, if that's fucking
true. Tex, that was good. But Tex sent that to us and said, this isn't a page a day, but it's definitely like
Right,
page
right.
a day. So
Yeah, that's what he told me. He
That
was
worked
like,
out
you might
perfect.
use it, or he was like, or you can make a Goremonger song.
there you go. Well, it worked out perfect, Joey, because you didn't have your stuff, and so that worked out. So thanks,
Yeah,
Tex.
And for all of our listeners, I will find it by next week, and I'll
course.
make up for it. I'll see if there was any good ones I missed this week, plus next week. So.
Yeah, no
Word.
problem. No problem. All right. Well, guys, I think we have done plenty of murder tonight, the murder list and old Crazy Joe. So I think it's about time to talk about some fucking heavy metal. So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our metal on.
Hell yeah.
Just because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you. All right. The great metal motherfucker. Hell yeah.
Long
Always.
live.
Always. So we're in the metal segment, and we always pay tribute to the great CK and the great metal motherfucker that he was. And we've kept the tradition alive by passing the horns, physically passing the goat horns. So I've got, I don't know if we got more than, okay.
These are the three that we pass.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I was
there
going
is
to
five.
say, I
Yeah,
picked
yeah.
up 2 over by where you used to sit, and I was wondering where
Yeah.
the third one was. Okay, so
Yep. We got all
so
three of
I've
them.
got all 3 of the horns, and so that means
Coming from Albert Fish.
that's right. Thanks, Albert.
I got a little list going of things that I need to get since I'm doing this kind of new, and having to set up the studio all over again.
Right.
But Pop-Tarts is something I got to have on Tuesdays that I wasn't
The
thinking
horns.
about, and I got to go buy the goat horns. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So since I got the horns this week, guys, I got to pick the topic, and so I decided to pick the band Traitor. Definitely like those guys from Ballingen, Germany, which is in southern Germany. And these guys formed in 2009. I'm not even sure. I think it's one of the groups I follow on Facebook, New Wave of Death Metal and the New Wave of Thrash Metal groups. And that guy that runs that, Riley, he had posted, I think, this Traitor album, which is how I found out about him. And I went and checked it out and really, really liked them. Definitely just straight up thrash metal. Definitely embodying that whole German thrash sound they call the Teutonic thrash, like Creator, Sodom, and of course Destruction. So these guys definitely remind me of that, but they sound like their own, which is really cool. They definitely incorporate a little bit of the U.S. Bay Area sound into it as well, like early, like Kill 'Em All, Metallica style. It reminds me of that too, and early Exodus. So they did some early demos. They released their debut, which was called Thrash Command in 2012. They followed that one with Venomizer in 2015, Knee Deep in the Dead, which I absolutely loved, in 2018. And then their latest, also killer, Exiled to the Surface in 2022, just came out. So
yeah.
New album just coming out. Everything I've heard that they do absolutely rips. What really killed me, I'm driving, I'm listening to this, I got it cranked, and I heard a song come on, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this sounds like something. And then I realized it was fucking Careless Whisper by George Michael, but it was like all metaled out, you know? So it took me a minute to fucking realize that's what it was. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? This is great. So then I had to share my karaoke version with them, you know?
Right.
Because I'm like, dudes, I love your band and I love this album and I just heard the song and check this shit out. And I sent this to them. They were fucking dying. They were like, oh my God, what the hell's this? You know? So we were both like exchanging just a lot of laughs and stuff. So really cool dudes. Their bass player, Lorenz, is the guy that I was talking to. Their drummer, Andreas Moser, is also the singer, which is very rare in metal. You don't see that very much at all, but especially in metal, because metal drummers are fucking all over the place and fucking winded. So to be able to fucking sing and play metal drums is fucking unbelievable. He is an absolute beast on the kit, and he's a good singer. So pretty impressive stuff. Lorenz Kandolf is the bass player. Matthias Koch, which I thought was funny with the whole Ilsa thing, Chris, but I wasn't going to bring it up. You know, I don't know if he's akin to Ilsa or not. I'm not going to say. And Gerd Harry on guitar also. So very, very cool. They were asked to be part of a documentary on German thrash, and they wrote the title song for the movie called Total Thrash, and amazingly got Tom Angel Ripper from Sodom to sing on it with them, which is amazing. These guys are really, really good, so give them a listen. I'll link to their website in the episode description so you can order some merch. They got a Bandcamp. You could download the albums. I paid for the download of Knee Deep in the Dead, and they wound up sending me the one for Exile to the Surface. But such a really, really good band. And I'm going to play a 5 or 6 minute clip of this interview that I did with Lorenz so you can hear him talk about how Angel Ripper ended up on that track with them. So check this out. Now, one of the things that jumped out at me when I was listening to your album, again, I was driving, so I wasn't like looking at stuff. I was just listening. And I come up to the song Total Thrash, and I'm like, you know, of course I'm drawing, you know, whenever I'm listening to a new band, what does this remind me of? And I knew you were from Germany, so I definitely could hear all the German influence, but then all of a sudden that song came on and I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds a lot like Tom Angel Ripper. And then when I stopped and I was looking at stuff, I'm like, well, shit, it was him. But how did that come about? Because that's really cool, man.
Dude, Peter, that's like the funny story. We wrote the soundtrack for a documentary called Total Thrash, The Teutonic Story. And it's a documentary about 40 years of German thrash metal, from the beginning in the 80s to now.
I want to see that, because that's my favorite kind of thrash, is the German thrash. So
you can also, I forget, I think they got, it's with the licenses on the music, but you also can have this on DVD and Blu-ray, but it's going to be also for streaming available.
Yeah.
And you get English subtitles, so you can understand.
Oh, very cool.
And yeah, we did the soundtrack for the movie. And they were just like on the whole Germany on their way with a cinema tour with that to present the movie. And yeah, the director just came to me and asked, because we are a lot in the movie, and I worked with the guys a long time together. And so we just recorded that stuff, asked Tom, he was into it and did an amazing job. And I mean, I'm super happy with it, because that's like my wet dreams as a 13, 14 old guy in my little room, like, oh, I want to be like Sodom or something like that, you know? And now you're recording songs with them, and that's like super fucking dope.
That's cool. I did an interview with him years ago through the internet, through email, because we didn't have this stuff back then. But he was really nice, really super cool guy. But yeah, that was just so awesome to see the old guy passing the torch to the younger guys, and just the fact that he did that with you guys, I thought was super cool. And it sounds great. It's a perfect compliment to what you guys are doing in Traitor. I think guys remind me a lot of them. And you know, the documentary that you mentioned, it's funny because was my next question was, how did that all come about? Because you don't see a lot of bands doing documentaries. So is somebody in the band the one that shot that, or were you guys just asked to be part of it from someone else outside the band?
No, we were just asked from the director. His name is Daniel Hoffman, and actually he's also a writer and has his own magazine, which I'm ghostwriting for too. And I'm employed there as a free writer, ghostwriter for interviews and interviewing bands and doing some portraits and all stuff. So we knew each other from before already. He also does a metal festival called Metal Diver Festival, and it's I don't know the English explanation for that, but it's Münsterland, Sauerland in Germany is like near in northeast region. And not east-west, it's in NRW, North Rhine-Westphalia, like there in that area. And yeah, he just asked us because he started in 2019 with that movie. And we were involved from the first beginning. And more after like 2 or 3 years, and while the pandemic was going on and it was nuts everywhere, he just kept on working with that, and we had always contact, and it just came like 5 seconds before 12 o'clock or something, 5 seconds for lunchtime or something like that. Hey, dude, you're playing a thrash metal band. Do you want to record a song? And we're like, yeah, fuck it, we're going to do that. And that was the whole story for the movie. And we just...
that's cool.
Well, like, we want to write that stuff. We were feeling honored, and we didn't knew that Tom Angel Ripper was going to sing there too. And so that was like the cherry on that ice cup.
Yeah.
That
that's
cool.
Fantastic, man. That's super cool.
Yeah, and we also had the opportunity with my other band, Reset. They're from Northern Germany. And I don't know if you saw something like that. They had some supporter packages here that's like with Traitor and Reset.
Yeah.
And like a little split vinyl or that one.
Oh, cool.
And we did also a second song for the movie called Alien Noises by Reset, and Schmier from Destruction does the vocals there too.
Oh, cool. I checked out Reset. I thought they were cool. Definitely a little different with them, but you know, it was good stuff. I definitely liked what I heard, so that's awesome.
Yeah, we just released a new EP, New World Murder is the name of that, in the end of May this year. So we're keeping us busy here over there. So.
Sounds like it. Now, I'd like to bass geek out just a little bit because, as I said, you know, when we first started talking, I told you I used to play bass. Yeah. I know, obviously, you play bass, so I got to ask you a bass question, and I thought the first one I wanted to ask you was about your tone. I really liked your tone.
There you go. You got to hear the interview to hear that answer.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. We talked about his bass gear. We also talked about bass players that influenced him. I talked about some that influenced me. But that was cool, though. He talked about how Tom Angel Ripper got involved with this documentary called Total Thrash and the song. They've got a video on YouTube you can watch for that song with Tom in it, which is really, really cool. So, again, really kick-ass band. Lorenz was a lot of fun to interview. So he also told me about a new band I never heard of before. I always ask that question. I also, guys, asked them the question of who does he want to see die in a Traitor mosh pit. Was it A, Justin Bieber, B, David Draymond, or C, Fred Durst? But you'll have to listen to the interview to find out which one he picked. And that'll be available the day after this episode goes live as a bonus episode here on the podcast. And the video of our interview that I did will be on the YouTube channel on Friday. So
fucking right.
Got all that coming up this week. And the fact I just interviewed him Sunday, this all happened very quickly. Normally I'm doing them far out in advance, but this one turned out to be kind of under the wire, but it worked. So the interview is about 43 minutes long, and so like I said, you could check that out as a bonus. So very cool. All right, Joey, what about the Lost Classic tonight? What do you got for us?
I do have a Lost Classic. Whenever I was at my buddy's house for CDF, we were listening to soundtracks, and it got me thinking about one that I wanted to use for a Lost Classic, and it's not a soundtrack, but my Lost Classic is the Beavis and Butthead Experience.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Now, when this album came out, I mean, it was fucking huge. Me and Chris have listened to this a bunch of
Dude,
times.
so
and
many
shit.
times.
yeah.
Looking down the
But-
barrel of a gun.
But yeah, I mean, it's got songs by Nirvana, Anthrax, Megadeth, Run DMC,
Run DMC, fuck yeah.
fucking Aerosmith, White Zombie, Primus, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jackal, and Cher with Positive K. So,
Oh, wow.
I mean, the Beavis and Butthead Experience, that motherfucker right there is a great album. I'm sure most people have heard it, and if you haven't heard it in a while, go back and check it
Yeah,
out.
it's so fucking fun.
Yeah, and they got that new movie. And
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
I
haven't seen it yet, but I want to
haven't
see
either.
it. Yeah.
Definitely want to watch
I won't spoiler alert anything for you guys.
I
it. Did you like it?
I did. I thought it was really good. I thought that they poked fun at the exact right things they needed to.
fucking A, dude.
Awesome,
Yeah, I definitely
awesome.
need to see this
Very
shit.
cool. All right. Well, what have we been listening to, Chris? What about you, man?
Stuff. Fucking annotations of an autopsy a little bit. Fucking different podcasts here and there about different things. When we get to it, one of them I've been listening to is going to be my metal segment next week. So
Oh, cool. I wonder what Albert's been listening to.
What have you been
Albert
listening to,
Fish has
Albert?
been kind of quiet over there.
like he's just staring off into the distance, thinking about fucking.
He's a New York guy. I'm thinking maybe Suffocation.
yeah. Right?
Suffocation, maybe.
maybe
Joey,
hate breed. Fucking
Hate Breed, Connecticut, yeah.
like
Malignancy.
East Coast malignancy.
Yeah,
There you go.
Malignancy, there
Yeah.
you go. Joey, what about you, man? What you been doing? I know you've been busy, but you did some driving, so you probably
Fuck
jammed
yeah.
some tunes.
There's so much moving and so much stuff going on. I went to CDF, so I'll talk about that. So I was listening to a lot of that. But some other things that I have been listening to is I got the Black Crows with Jimmy Page double album they did.
Oh, nice.
Which that's just fucking an awesome album if people haven't heard that. I was also listening to Aerosmith Rocks. Love me some old Aerosmith. And another thing I was listening to was the Gorillaz.
Hell yeah.
So
That's cool. That's cool.
I also still had to keep letting people check out that new Megadeth video too. And
Dude, that fucking, did you see that yet, Pete?
I need to see that.
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
so fucking good.
And actually, Pete, you should, because the first chapter they got like different stories to them.
Right.
But the first one I think you would really, really like too, because it has to do with like wartime issues and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yep.
I mean, Megadeth's always like, there's been like wartime military.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah. I've been listening to that new Battle Grave, that Australian band I mentioned earlier, Cavernous Depths, just absolutely wicked. I mentioned, of course, Traitor, the album Exile to the Surface, and Knee Deep in the Dead, both wicked. And then Lorenz from Traitor turned me on to a band I never heard of before called Hell Drifter. What a cool fucking name.
Right.
A German band from their same part of Germany, and their album called Lord of Damnation. Fuck yeah, these dudes are wicked. Death with a thrash edge to it, but more death metal than thrash, but unbelievably talented musicians. I mean, really good shit. Love them. I contacted the band right away to see if I could reach out to do an interview. And the singer, Billy, got a hold of me and said, totally, fuck yeah. He said that Lorenz brought us up to him right after he hung up the phone, talking to me, and said, man, you guys got to get on this U.S. podcast. So
That's fucking
Lorenz
badass.
also writes for a couple of metal magazines out there in Europe. So he's very involved with bands, which is really cool. So I'm hoping that friendship there and him turning bands on to Murder Metal Mayhem
That'd
and
be fucking
hearing about
great.
bands from him, that's fucking awesome. So that's the cool thing I think about metal. What I love so much about it is the fact that metalheads love to turn their friends on to bands that they've never heard. You want to be the guy to bring that band to the table. And me and CK used to do that to each other all the time. And I always loved it when I stumped him and he's like, I've never heard of them before. And yeah, I've checked them out and they're just amazing. It's just so cool, especially when there's multiple albums you could listen to. It's like,
Right.
oh my God, like not only is this one good, but like the other 4 or 5 are killer too, you know? So just a good band. So check those guys out. Bands, we talk about this. I've been contacted by a few bands that want to get a hold of us to be on the show. You could do that by emailing me at pete@murdermetalmayhem.com.
Fucking A.
And send me,
give us some stuff and we'll hook you up. We'll
check it out.
Fucking,
if we like it,
fuck yeah, dude.
We'll get a hold of you. We'll, maybe do an interview and maybe do a review. Joey and I have been doing a lot of reviews lately. So I don't know, Joey, if you get to see the one I did on Battlegrave with the car accident analogy.
Not yet, but I will.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones I've done just because there's a lot of writing that went into that one. Like,
right.
I have had a few compliments like, dude, like, why aren't you doing more reviews? And I'm like, fuck, I don't have the time. I mean, yeah, it was cool to write that review, but it's pretty out there. It's not a typical review. So you have to check it out. But if you're interested, like I said, email me, pete@murdermetalmayhem.com. Or if you want to go old school, send it in to Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois, 61745. You want to throw a sticker in there, we'll throw it on the door.
Right.
And, any kind of shit like that. Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Anybody listening that wants to just throw a fucking box of Pop-Tarts in our fucking
pins,
P.O. box.
maybe some patches. Fucking hell yeah.
So, Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois, 61745.
And like I said, since I've been so busy that I've got a bunch of stuff on my plate, but I've got 2 reviews coming up that I'll get out this week for Awaken the Misogynist from over in the UK. And I'm also doing my buddy from Las Vegas, Phalloplasty.
Hell yeah.
His new album, The 27 Club, that came out on CDN Records last
fucking
week.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, that's
Joey,
fucking
you
badass.
just went, you mentioned this a couple times now, to the CDN, the Chicago Domination. And how did that go up there this weekend?
Yeah, CDF, Chicago Domination Fest, put on by my buddy Miguel. This was the 7th one, but of course the last couple years he wasn't able to do it with the COVID restrictions.
For sure.
But it was a really awesome time. There was so many. It was a good turnout. It was at a new place. It was in Lombard, Illinois, called the Brower House. And this venue was fucking perfect for what we were doing.
Cool.
But there were so many fucking good bands. Probably the biggest one for me and my favorite was Vulvectomy from Italy.
Oh, nice.
They came in, and they're one of my favorite brutal slam bands, and they fucking tore the house down when they came. Also, some other honorable mentions was Reviled from Texas, and with them Deflowered also played.
Nice.
Actually, it's funny because I think there was like 30 something bands, and I think I'm pretty positive that 10 of them were from Texas.
Oh, wow.
It was
a lot
very
of Texas fucking metal going
I
on.
saw Jesse was there. Was he drinking some Malort?
Jesse was there, and he was definitely drinking some Malort. He performed with Incinerate, of course.
Of course.
They were fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Also from Texas is the new band that came out, Stabbing.
Yeah,
This band,
dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a 4-piece, and it's 2 wives and 2 husbands.
Oh, wow.
So the vocalist is female and the bassist is female, which is my friend Meryl. That band, like, there was a lot of hype
Heavy.
going on around them, but actually seeing them live, that hype was well worth it.
Oh, wow.
So they were awesome. Fucking Cerebral Incubation from Las Vegas. That band's so fucking heavy. They came and tore it up. To Violently Vomit played, which is Disgorge USA.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Condemned played from California. I don't know, just a whole lot of bands. Flesh Hoarder from down in Texas. So my buddy Mike De Leon, who also plays with Phil Anselmo and the
Right,
Illegals.
right.
They were badass. I mean, there was just so many fucking good sets, but I'll have to say that my favorites were Stabbing, what's the name? Pyrexia had a fucking huge set.
Well, I was
They
going
were
to
the
ask you
headliners of
about
the
that
first
because
night.
that new album, I know you were
Yeah.
fucking loving that shit.
Yep, they were the headliners of the first night, and then of course, like I said, Vulvectomy was my favorite of the weekend. Mortal Decay also had a huge fucking set, and also our buddies in Sexual Atrocities.
Yes, sir.
They
Always
came
a good time.
Oh yeah, they brought that party grind, and they didn't fucking disappoint me.
Fucking A.
Nice.
So yeah, again, I know that Miguel puts a lot of fucking money into doing that fest, and I know that he probably never makes his money back. So
It's all for the love.
It is. So much respect for him for doing that.
Yeah.
And, next
That's
year,
awesome.
if he does it again, I definitely highly recommend everybody gets out to it.
That's cool. That's cool. Fuck yeah. Now, Chris, you said you've got a band in mind
Yeah,
for
I'm
next
gonna
week
do-
because it's your turn with the horn.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Cashman will know once I just say this, like our homie Jake's like probably favorite band ever.
Oh yeah.
I'm fucking doing Shadow of Intent next week.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Fuck
dude.
yeah.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
it'll be fun.
That's cool. Very cool. All right. That's 666 Club's another cool thing. You could join our Patreon supporters and go to patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem. You can get, bonus content, interviews as soon as they're done, episodes a day early, discounts on merch. It's just a cool thing. $3 is all it is. So go there and help us out, pay some bills, and keep the show moving right along. And we
Fucking A,
appreciate
we
everybody
appreciate
that
all
is a
that.
666 Clubber.
You
All
damn right.
And we
Goddamn
have
right.
done plenty of metal tonight. So, Chris, tell me, what the fuck do we got to do?
Let's get our mayhem on now.
Once upon a time, the tectonic cat was born. The god's original, its story has been told. Driven back in time to a land of steel and cold. A youth who is desired, its spark of threshing fire. Like the heat of an ash, cold of blood, under Frankenstein. Cold of blood, like a never-ending rash. Cold of blood, part of your blood and flesh. Cold of blood.
Hey, 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 bitches, it's your boy Punky from the new fly label 419 Records. Ho! Got a big announcement about to drop on y'all, and dropping them like my big ass nuts. Want to share it with my homies at Murder Metal Mayhem. This label's growing, y'all. You know that's for real. I got a new homie working with us, and I know you know who it is. That motherfucker Joey Cashman, Joey Date Rate, Cashman Outside, Cash Money, Gorma. I don't know what the fuck this dude calling himself these days. Cashmere, Cashew. I don't know. This motherfucker got 1,000 names, but you know who he is. Anyway, he gonna be working on scouting new talent for me at 419 Records. He already lined up a crazy motherfucker from Texas, y'all. This motherfucker crossed between bluegrass jams and gangster rap. Let me repeat, that's some crazy shit. Bluegrass motherfucking jams, gangster rap. His name is Joe Ball, aka Ball Money. You know that's what's up. Ball Money in the motherfucking house. Right, right. A.K.A. Michael Shawback. He got a new album fixed to drop on 419 Records this fall called Bitches and Gators. That's some fly ass shit. That's some pimp shit coming out the cornfields. Bitches and Gators. Get the fuck out of here. Texas cornfields, that is. Anyway, big welcome Joey Cashman to the 419 family. Punky out. Later, bitches. Brat!
Oh my God. That is some ridiculous shit right there. Wow. And I can't imagine our listeners maybe that never heard us before, like, what the fuck did
What
I
just
just listen
happened?
to?
Right.
There's a whole story with the Punky thing, and you got to listen to us to know about it. But Joey's alter ego there, Punky.
Hell yeah. One of
And
them.
I
One
had
of
to
'em.
play that one, Joey, because you're in the 419 now. I mean, you're...
It's fucking crazy how all this shit worked out. But yeah,
Right?
Punky, the alter ego, and now I live in the fucking 419.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
would have ever thought? You know what I mean? If you would have said, "Oh, and in the summer of 2022, you're going to move to the 419 and
Nobody
do the
would
show.
have thought when we did the whole fucking goddamn Sugar Babe story.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. So ridiculous. So,
And
anyway.
I feel bad because I was kind of slipping because I was like, man, I should have brought Punky out this week because fucking episode 187, homie.
Right. Oh, yeah. Shit.
Yeah, I meant to do something with that, but you know how it is. We got busy and shit. but
Right.
Don't think I forgot that it's 187 in this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, we are in Mayhem, and Joey, you're still here. We're doing the show with you remote. And
Who was the band that you played before that?
Oh, I'm sorry. How could I forget?
Yeah.
Traitor, the song Total Thrash.
Fuck yeah.
With Tom Angel Ripper singing with them. Fucking killer. So, yeah, thanks for reminding me.
And you'll
of
get to
that,
check
Joey.
that
And-
whole interview out,
Yeah,
too. So.
and Traitor, like I said, they're my feature band this week. I'll link to those guys in the episode description. And they got the new album that just came out, just absolutely wicked. So if you like thrash, they're definitely your thing. All right, so we are in Mayhem, and this is where we tell some Mayhem stories. And I've got a little bit of a Mayhem story. I told Chris about
it's
this
pretty
today.
fucking funny.
It's pretty funny. It's a little gory, but kind of ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Oh, wait a minute. Really fast. I said I didn't have any mayhem,
Yeah.
but no, I'm going to save it. Stephanie told me some shit from at work. You
Yeah.
know, she works in the hospital and shit.
Right.
Just know that next week I'm gonna say something in Mayhem about. She
Okay.
told me some shit that blew my fucking mind today.
Word up.
okay.
I
So y'all can be prepared. But tonight, yeah, we got Pete.
So, all right. So I live right behind a grocery store. So every now and then,
in
you
a
know,
small rural town.
yeah,
so.
in a little town, and every now and then, you know, we see a mouse in the house, you know. So anyway, we saw one. So I'm like, all right. So I got these traps. They're just like it's like a strong clip. It's like not
they're-
like a
I
typical.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like a mini bear trap.
Pretty much, yes. And I always nail them with this thing. And anyway, so we got the trap in the garage, in the bathroom downstairs, because we don't want the dog to get into it. So put that, you know, in the bathroom, shut the door. So anyway, I go to work. Jenny's working from home. I get a text message. She's like, I think we got something in that trap in the bathroom, but it's making a bunch of noise. I hear it squeaking, and I'm hearing banging sounds, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm thinking about that story about my dad with the fucking rat in the
Right.
fucking back of the
Or you got
the
a baby
restaurant.
possum stuck in that bitch.
Yeah,
or
I'm like,
something.
oh my God, like what the fuck is thrashing around in the bathroom, you know? So I'm thinking about this shit. I come home, you know, for lunch, and I'm like, really don't know what the fuck I'm going to find in this little bathroom. And you guys have been in this bathroom.
Right, it's
like
tiny.
It's a small ass fucking bathroom, like 5x5 at the most. Not even, probably 4x4. Anyway, so I walk in, I open the door. The trap is not where it is supposed to be.
Right.
So I'm thinking whatever picked this motherfucker up, moved it to another side of the bathroom, which is kind of fucked up to think, like, what the hell is it, you know?
Right.
But I'm hearing this squeaking noise and this banging sound, and I'm like, where the fuck is this thing? I'm looking all around. I don't fucking see it. I got a shower in there, a stand-up shower. I pulled the shower curtain back thinking it was going to be in there. No. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like, where the fuck is this thing? So I'm looking around, and then I see the pipe that feeds into the toilet, the water.
The water line, yeah.
The mouse is trying to get out of that, so that must be how he got in there.
Right.
But the trap is like he's attached to it.
Yeah,
so
he's caught.
so it's like it wasn't his tail, because his tail was sticking out. So it was like one of his paws. I don't know what
like
the fuck they call it.
the hind the hind legs.
I
and
don't
shit.
know. Okay. Because I can't really see it because it's behind the toilet. So I'm like, I could see the mouse is there. I could see the trap is there. And I got the broom and dustpan in my hands, because I was thinking whatever it was, I was just going to scoop it up and take it outside, finish it off,
Murder it.
and be done with it, you know? So I'm like, okay. And I'm trying to get the broom behind the toilet, which is kind of difficult. And again, you guys have been in this
it's
bathroom.
small, yeah.
It would be tough to get a full-size broom around there. So And the other thing I didn't want to do is push on it at all because then it would let it go.
Oh,
And then I wouldn't have been able to catch it, you know. So I wanted to catch the son of a bitch.
Right.
So anyway, I'm looking at the broom and I see the end of it like doesn't have the normal handle on it. It's just like metal, you know, like a metal pole. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess there's only one way to solve this problem. So I turned the broom around. I just like harpooned this motherfucker and fucking smashed it. And it like pushed it into the hole.
Right.
So it's either dead in my basement or it's
Dead
wounded
somewhere
and
else,
ran
yeah.
off or something. I don't know. But I hammered this motherfucker. I don't think it's
This
alive.
motherfucker tried to climb through the hole, slamming the fucking,
Yeah.
slamming the trap against
Trying
the
to
wall
get at
and
me.
shit.
That's pretty hardcore, man. Like this motherfucker had some balls
Dude.
No fucking fear.
to drag this trap 4 feet while he's like gimped up and then to get through the hole, but he can't
But he
get
can't
through.
get out because of the trap. Like fucking,
Yeah.
it's like that fucking time I was feeding one of my snakes and he didn't totally kill the rat.
Oh.
Started eating it backwards, ass first instead of head first. And this fucking rat's trying to crawl out of my snake's mouth while he's being eaten alive, dude.
Oh, my
I'm just like, well,
God.
sucks to be you, I guess.
Oh, wow. So, yeah. So, there you go. There's my story.
That's fucking,
That's fucking gnarly.
dude. he just can't get out. Got this trap just slamming against the wall. Like,
Yeah.
motherfucker,
I
dude.
mean, this son of a bitch, and it was a little, like, it wasn't any bigger than
Right,
a couple inches, if that.
this
I
little
mean, it's a
tiny
small
guy.
fucking mouse. I'm like,
You better fucking
man.
chew that foot off.
right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, we got a good killer cage match tonight. That's where we get a list
Ding,
of
ding,
75 objects, 75 killers, and our listeners pick random numbers on our Facebook page to help us decide who's going to fight to death in the steel cage. And
Hell yeah.
Chris, we got some listeners.
Yes,
we want to say
do.
thank
Once
you. to.
again, we have Missy Hartson, Rebecca Boomsock, and Ray Anaconda McFall.
Hell yeah. Thank you all for contributing. And we got a good one in the cage tonight. Joey, who's going up? This is going to be a brutal one.
Ugh.
You know, originally I would say the hometown hero, but I live in Ohio now.
That's right. Yeah, you can't really
So-
claim it, man.
No, so from Chicago, Illinois, we got motherfucking John Wayne Gacy.
You
He'll
know
throw
it.
you in the goddamn Des Plaines River or bury you under his fucking house.
82
And then you got
13.
fucking yep. And then you got the Kansas City butcher himself, Robert Berdella.
Yeah, and if you don't know who Robert Berdella is, that's a fucked up one. We've done that episode.
He liked
Oh,
to
yeah.
torture.
What a sick motherfucker.
I mean,
that-
these two really head to head is pretty fucking
pretty good
right on.
matchup.
yeah.
And Chris, they've got objects that I don't think I could have scripted this any better for these two.
Yeah, no, they got a hot poker. I'm going to assume it's red hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a red hot fire poker.
Right.
And a double-headed dildo.
Oh boy.
And both these dudes like to sodomize.
Right. So this is going to be one hell of a party. And the variable, Joey, is an interesting one. I don't know what he's going to do in there.
Yeah, the variable is Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys with a case of the crabs.
Oh, jumping up and down, scratching his nuts. Chris, what
Yeah.
do we think of this? We got Gacy and Robert Berdella in a cage with a hot poker, a double-headed dildo, and Bubbles with
Bubbles.
a case of the crabs.
Bubbles
the old
ain't
green
there.
bastard himself.
Bubbles ain't there. He's in a hazmat suit. He's at the laundromat trying to clean everything. Fucking
Okay.
he ain't even there. He's like, fuck this shit. I need to get rid of these fucking greasy motherfuckers. Don't
Okay.
like it. They're getting on my kitties. Fuck that. Like, not even there.
All right.
Fucking, but yeah, and then I think, I don't know. I'm going to say like fucking Gacy and Berdella just start going at it. Like, fuck yeah, dude. They start fighting, and then Berdella, because he liked to take the sparklers and fucking stick them in dick holes anyway,
He
dude.
did.
Somehow he gets his hands on that hot poker, and he just
Oh.
fucking shoves it straight up Gacy's fucking pee hole. He's
Oh.
like, fuck you, dude. Yeah, this is my jam. I love it, dude. Fucking fire in the fucking dick. Hell yeah. So fucking Gacy, on the other hand, he just like fucking just doesn't even care right now. He's just pissed off that he's getting taken advantage of. You know he doesn't like that shit.
No.
He's like getting beat. He's like, fuck that. So he just grabs that double-headed dildo and he fucking just smacks Berdella over the fucking head with it hard as fuck, rips the fucking hot poker out of his own dick, shoves that into Berdella's ass, and then just fucking proceeds to fucking fuck Berdella up his dick hole with the dildo, and then just chokes him out with it afterwards. Just because I'm gonna guess it's like a 2 foot long. He just wraps it around his throat, chokes him out. I'm just gonna give it to Gacy.
Okay, very interesting, Joey. What about you, man?
Well, I think both of these guys, Berdella and Gacy, they're first gonna look at each other, look over in the corner, and see that motherfucker Mike Smith or Bubbles,
right.
fucking, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, that boy right there, he needs him a little fucking ass raping." They're gonna go grab Bubbles. Both of them grabbing Bubbles.
Poor Bubbles.
Bending him over, sodomizing him, fucking him, doing all kinds of shit.
Nailing his fucking ball sack to a fucking piece of wood.
Oh, yeah. So they kill him first. Then they're looking at each other like, man, one of us has to fight to the death too. You know that, right? And Gacy's like, well, hold on, but check this out. I got something to show you. He fucking takes Bubbles' glasses and he fucking uses them to fucking take those crabs that are on Bubbles' fucking crotch, and he fucking cooks them right on Bubbles. Then they pull them off, and him and Berdella, they start eating these crabs, and it's a fucking good ass treat. You know what I'm saying? Cage match.
Nice.
This is like better than the concession food
Yeah,
at
just hot
the
dogs.
killer cage match.
Yeah, right.
So then they get all fucking, you know, they're in that food coma after that because they just enjoyed some badass eats. They're like, man, you know it would be good if we were getting fucked in our ass. So they take that double-ended dildo and they put it in each other's ass, and they're just fucking pounding on each other. And then fucking Gacy, since he's such a piece of shit, and he's like, oh, wait, I'm not gay, motherfucker. And he jumps up and he grabs that fucking dildo, shoves it down fucking Berdella's throat with his own shit that was on it down his throat, and then Gacy proceeds to put the dildo back in his ass and sits all the way down on it on Berdella's face, chokes him with the fucking dildo cock in his mouth with the shit. I'm giving it to Gacy.
Wow, yeah. Both of you going with Gacy. And Gacy, I mean, just physically, I mean, Gacy's a pretty imposing dude. I mean, Berdella was pretty stout too.
Right.
I'm definitely agreeing with you guys. I love, of course, the action there, but I don't see how Gacy's not winning this one over Berdella. Gacy's just a brutal motherfucker. So, all right. Well, very good. Always love a good killer cage match, and our listeners contributing always make for a fun play-by-play. And who would have ever thought, Chris, when I came up with this idea at a pre-show meeting one time, it's like, what do you guys think of this? Like, I don't know. Yeah,
let's try it.
Let's try it out. And it's been just
I think
so
it
much fun.
started out with like a list of like
probably 25 or 30, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's grown a lot. We've done it live a couple different times. So when we've done appearances, we've done that. And so these are a lot of fun. All right. Deeper Than Dead, my book is just came out in June, is doing very well. So thank you to everybody that bought a copy. You can go to deeperthandead.com to get one. I've got them both in color and black and white. The color ones are 8.5 by 11. The black and whites are 6 by 9. Artwork by Brian Usual, just absolutely killed it. I've also added Shane Borchuk, our listener, is now one of my beta readers. So welcome aboard, Shane, helping me out. Sean from In Malice's Wake, his wife's getting ready to have a baby or just had a baby. He's been really busy with a lot of stuff. So
of course.
Shane was all about it. So the more beta readers, the better. It's fine. So
yeah.
Soy boy beta cuck.
Now, speaking of Brian Usual, he's going to be with me and Chris at the Dark History and Horror Convention coming up. It's coming up here Friday, August 19th from 4 to 8 p.m. and Saturday, August 20th, 10 to 7 at the I Hotel in Champaign, Illinois.
There's going to be a lot of fucking shit going on there.
There's going to
man.
be a lot of shit. Tattoo artists. Jeff Gaither's now supposed to be there. There's all kinds of authors, actors,
movie producers. Fucking
Jeremy London,
so...
Jason London are going to be there doing those screenings for Dazed and Confused and Mallrats. I mean, it's going to be really cool. Brian has really gone all out this year, so it's going to be a good one. I'll link to that in the episode description if you want to get your tickets, because they're going to be more expensive at the door, so you're better off getting your tickets ahead. I don't even know how much the tickets are, to be honest with you. I didn't look, but I will post a link to that in the episode description so you can do that. The YouTube channel, we're going to be doing more on YouTube now, even more than we've already been doing.
Trial and error shit, but we are working on that.
Yeah,
dude.
so subscribe to that channel and click the notification button so you know when we post new stuff on there. So, all right, well, I think we have done plenty of mayhem tonight, so let's hit that fucking outro. All right, some gruesome. And the
Shit's
song
gruesome as fuck.
At Death's Door. Definitely dig those guys. Good shit. Big thank you to Lorenz from Traitor for doing the interview with me. Go check those guys out. I'll link to them in the episode description. Bumper music tonight, Joey. Who was that? Who do we play
tonight? We played fucking Traitor, Gruesome, and Battlegrave.
Hell yeah. And Chris, the metal segment.
As always, fucking Chrysix, the great metal motherfucker.
You know it. You know it. And the Murder Metal Mayhem intro music by Low Fucking 12. So there you go. Don't forget, again, to come see us at the Dark History and Horror Convention. It's coming up soon, Friday, August 19th. That's 2022. And August 20th. 4 to 8 on Friday, 10 to 7 on Saturday. iHeart Hotel in Champaign. It's a nice place, good location. I'll link to it in the episode description so you can get your tickets and come see us and say hi. We're going to have Murder Metal Mayhem activity books. We're going to have both T-shirts, all my books. I mean, we're going to have all kinds of shit out there. It'll be me, Chris, and then artist Brian Usual, my artist for the Deeper Than Dead book. He's going to be there.
All your books except the one Joey did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brian and I have never actually met, and he's been working with me for 10 years now doing Low 12 stuff and now my writing. So very, very cool that we'll get to meet. And Brian's like 6'6" or something like that. He's a giant. So we're going to feel like midgets, Chris, you know.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We keep seeing the numbers rolling in, and we appreciate that very much. Chris, what about that first comment there?
First one we got is from Carla Nettles. Says, I really love the Shark Week episode. You guys are so great. I tell as many people that I can about you. I'm in Topeka, Kansas, listening every week. So fucking hey, man.
Thanks,
glad you
Carla.
enjoyed that shark shit, because that's a fucking interesting story. And it's not murder. It's shark murder.
Yeah.
Sharks are doing
a lot
murder.
of blood and mayhem.
It was just fucking, it was something fun, different to do, though.
Yeah, it was
like,
great.
It was great.
Joey?
I was curious to hear what Mick thought of that. So if you hear from him,
I haven't heard yet.
Mick, if you're listening to this, let us know.
Let us know.
Shark Week. The second comment is from Dirk Klein 74332, and he said that was cool to hear Joey do Goremonger. Best of luck with your move, and I hope you stay on the podcast for a long time. I personally don't see any reason why I would stop doing it.
Fucking right.
I had my fucking testicles ripped out and served in spaghetti.
Man, Tex came in the clutch with that one. We needed a page a day, and there it was. Tex helped us out.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, Carrie Slaughter, 44, commented, I'm coming to the Dark History Con to see you guys. My brother and I are driving up from Oklahoma City. Wow. Love you guys, and or have since you started. So thank you very
Goddamn.
much, Carrie.
Fuck yeah,
That's
can't wait
fucking
to
cool,
see
man.
you. Fucking
Yeah, come and say hello. Chris,
Fucking
why don't
right.
you read that last one?
We got Marissa kills Eddie. All right. Hi, Marissa. Glad I'm not Eddie.
Right.
Fucking yeah, Marissa kills Eddie says, I just heard about you from a guy I started dating. I got to say, it's one of the best podcasts I've heard. You guys are really funny and do a great job on the topics. Thank you. We try. We have been
Yeah.
known as the Beavis and Buttheads.
That's right. We
And-
do our best, but we
do
have a
our
lot
best.
of fun doing it.
We
That's
like
for sure.
putting the information out there as best we can.
Right. Also, thanks to Sick Rick, sickrickmasks.com, SIKRIK masks.com. Support what he's doing. Got some killer stuff. We've got Albert Fish here tonight with us with headphones. On the mic, Chrissy's been very quiet, very stoic over there.
Right.
Probably waiting for some little kids to come around that he can prey upon. So the Grace Bud letter
Yeah,
is staring
looking
at
for,
me.
he's looking for Grace Bud.
I'm definitely
He's eating
my
poop.
plan is when I get my fucking studio up here, I got to get me a Sick Rick mask too, because we got to rep that shit.
Fucking right.
But I'm gonna probably do the Jim Jones one, and I'm gonna think
Nice.
on something that I can talk to Rick, maybe like a special one-off paint job or whatever.
Oh,
something
That'd be
special.
cool, man. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
he'll do it, man. He'll do it.
Yep. And what's cool is now I live not too far, a couple hours away
Yeah,
from
you
him.
go get the damn thing.
I can go pick it up. Yep.
Right, right. Very cool. Well, yeah, Sick Rick is a sponsor of the show, and we've got 9 of his masks, so we genuinely like his stuff. Also, my book, Deeper Than Dead, you can order it at deeperthandead.com. Check out murdermetalmayhem.com. Listen to all the past episodes. Joey, what about your distro, FTA Records?
with a Z. Yeah, I've still got some stuff. I've been a little bit slacking on it about getting a new merch list up and stuff. It's
Well, you
just because-
moved, man.
Yeah,
You've
with the
been
move and
busy,
everything.
homie, dude. Come on.
Yeah. So
Takes a
whenever I
lot
get
out.
when I get everything unboxed and everything else, I'm going to put together a new list because, as I said before, I know in my collection I've got duplicates of albums because I just didn't realize I had it already or whatnot.
Right.
So that'll end up. I'll add it all to the fucking distro list one last time and
Cool.
get those out. And plus,
Cool.
I got new Goremonger coming up that I'm putting out on FTA Records. So.
Right. And I'll link to this in the episode description. So if you want to get Joey's distro or Goremonger stuff, you'll be able to get a hold of him that way.
And like I said, man, back home, my little apartment that was known as FTA Studios.
Right.
Now that I'm over here, this is going to be 419 Records.
419. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You could check us out on all the platforms out there. So thanks to everybody that does.
Y'all
you
are
could
great.
support the show, patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem, $3 a month. And we can't let them go without hearing a karaoke song. And since I mentioned this in the Traitor piece, I thought, why not? Blast from the Past, my version of Careless Fucking Whisper. So crank this shit up. And until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
Just keep loving Murder Metal Mayhem. Thank you.
I feel so unsure as I take your hand and lead you to the dance floor. As the music dies, something in your eyes calls to mind a silver screen, and all it said goodbye. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm, though it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. I should've known better than to cheat a friend and waste a chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you. Oh, fuck yeah! Time the truth. Pain is all you'll find. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. I should've known better than to cheat a friend and waste the chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I fucking dance with you. Motherfucker, never without your love. Seems so loud. I wish that we could lose this crowd. Maybe it's better this way. We hurt each other with the things we want to say. We could have been so good together. We could have lived this dance forever. But now who's gonna dance with me? Please stay. We're gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. I should've known better than to cheat a friend and waste the chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I fucking dance with you.
Mother, man.